showing him and Watson before a workout. For the quarterback competition between Watson, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel, Monken says reps will be fluid, going to whoever gives the best chance to win. And the LA Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua has entered a rehab facility, according to his attorney, to work on personal behavior. He's expected to complete the program well before OTAs. This comes after a lawsuit was filed last month by an LA woman alleging gender violence, assault, battery, and negligence against the wide receiver. Get all the latest Browns content filtered right to your phone this offseason by following the Browns playlist and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline Sports News continues every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Mackenzie Flume.
The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
This is why I hate spring, and I rant and rave about spring, and I know you guys are tired of hearing me saying it, and I'll try to keep it brief. I hate this season. I hate everything about spring. It's a giant tease. Anytime you think it's good, it's bad. That's spring. Spring sucks. Good morning. Gary on the road. Hello, Gary.
Ted, quit complaining about the weather. It's a woman's fault that it's the way it is.
Tell me
Mother
more.
Nature. She can never make up her mind.
There we go. I'm going to write that one down. Hey, wife, get a load of this.
The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima. Weekday mornings starting at 6 a.m. 92.3 The Fan. Talk sports with guys in the know.
It's embarrassing. I mean, are they not embarrassed?
It's time for Baskin and Phelps. Cleveland's sports radio. 92.3 The Fan.
$413 million, and you lost twice. I love it. I love it. I love the fact the Guardians beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. What a good trip it was to start the season. I look forward to seeing everybody have a little bit of fun tomorrow at the ballpark as they get home for the home opener. I'm Andy Baskin. He's Tom Withers. Come on. You got to admit, it's kind of fun to look at a team that's got a payroll of $413 million. Almost 414 if you want to take it to the other side. I love it. I absolutely love the fact the Guardians beat them 2 out of 3. Love it.
Wow.
You know why?
You got your pom-poms out today,
no,
man.
this ain't about pom-poms. This is about I can't stand.
Balance in baseball?
I don't know. Did you hear? It was Oral Hershiser. Who's their play-by-play guy? I forgot him again.
Joe Davis.
Joe Davis. The legendary Joe Davis. In the first game of the series.
How'd you confuse Oral Hershiser and Joe Davis?
No, both of them are together.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have 2 cuts. We're going to play them here for you in a second again. When they played the first game of the series, and I don't know, Jeff was like, why do you worry about this stuff? I don't care. I just love it. I love it. I love the fact that people are telling you the Guardians are, you're like, oh, they can't do anything in the AL Central. They're not. They'll be lucky if they're. Okay, so what? Maybe they are. Maybe they are. They didn't do anything in the offseason. They didn't spend a dime. Well, maybe a couple times, but who cares? They beat the Dodgers.
They extended Jose Ramirez.
Well, that's okay.
That's a huge move.
All right.
It's not like they didn't do anything.
I know, but
they fortified their bullpen. I know.
But when you don't bring in a new name,
Rhys Hoskins.
Okay, that was it. The Rhys Hoskins move was it.
You're right, though. They didn't go out and spend a lot of money on free agents like they normally do, right?
I got irritated in game 1 because I'm listening to the highlights.
Yeah.
On MLB, which they do a great job. If you ever want to go back and watch a baseball game in 15 minutes, they cut it together with all 4 announcing teams. So you get home and away,
That's sacrilegious watching a baseball game in 15 minutes. The beauty of baseball is being able to watch the game. Let it play out.
I don't know. I don't mind my religion sometimes.
You young guys, go ahead.
All right, so after the first game, when the Guardians won, I was listening to the highlights. I went back. I watched it, but I was like, it was so hard because those games are so late at night. Sorry, poor me. I know.
Yeah.
But I fell asleep a couple times, and I was trying to.
It was late.
I was fighting through it, and then I was like, okay, I saw it, and I always wake up right at the end of the game. The music for the postgame show wakes me up every time. So maybe because I'm having nightmares that I'm doing the postgame show and I didn't see the game, and now all of a sudden I got to wing it. So in the first game, they were kind of cutting on Cleveland a little bit. And maybe rightfully so. I mean, they went to the World Series, and Toronto was next for them. All right, Dan, we got to play these 2 cuts again just so I can laugh. I just enjoy it. So this is from game 1. What was the first cut? I can't even remember. It was.
Do I really have to play along with this?
Yes, you're playing along. No, you're playing along.
Okay. So this was from LA Sportsnet. This was when they were pulling Roki Sasaki in game 1.
Yes.
Here's Joe Davis.
And that is how Sasaki's night is going to finish. So 4+. Runner at first, his responsibility. Sasaki's season debut is finished. His next start will come in Toronto. So an upgrade in competition as he goes from facing the Guardians to the Blue Jays. Progress, though, nonetheless tonight as the bullpen takes over here in the 5th.
Oh, how's your upgrade? That team you couldn't beat twice. The team that you just lost a series at home to. Congratulations on spending all your money. You lost twice to the Guardians. And but he'll get an upgrade. I hate to say he's right because it's Toronto, but it was just kind of like, did you really need to say that?
Yeah.
That was kind of pompous, wasn't it?
And you called him out, so it was idiotic. Yeah, great start for the Guards, man. I mean, for them to split in Seattle and then roll into L.A. and, like you said, take on the behemoth that is the 2-time defending World Series champion Dodgers. They look great. I mean, there was a lot to like yesterday. To your point, though. Andy,
it gets better. It gets better,
okay.
Tom.
I mean, don't play into this inferiority complex, though, here in Cleveland. You be proud of the team that you've got, and don't worry about what the other team's got.
I'm totally with you, but I still love the fact that he was so pompous about it. Well, we had upgraded the cap. So here's the next part. This is Oral Hershiser. This is the part that bothered me more.
Also, Tom, because only you'll appreciate this.
Okay.
I let that clip long because I wanted to listen to the pipe organ doing the Beatles.
It was not. There you go.
Oh,
that's why we
cool.
did it. That's why it was cut the way that it was cut. Sometimes you do some things for you while someone else is whining.
I love the Beatles.
Anyway, here's Oral.
Well, he just sticks the bat out, had enough swing left to just kind of give himself a chance, and that chance turned into a hit. That's where Tanner Scott has got to trade an out for a run. If you get to 2 strikes, maybe you look for the punch out or the pop up, but you don't want to turn this into a crooked number. A couple of tin soldiers are not going to beat this Dodger offense.
The Tin Soldiers beat your offense. I love it. I'm sorry, man. A couple of Tin Soldiers are not going to beat your offense. Yeah, sure they can't hit 200, but I don't care. They're my guys that can't hit over 200, and I love them for that. That's what family is all about there, Guardians fans, Indians fans, I'll say that too. Anyway, he called them Tin Soldiers, and I was just like, man, dude, that's a Major League Baseball team. It's not like, these guys, they just pulled these guys off the playground and said, let's play baseball. Oral Hershiser called guys on his old team Tin Soldiers. Like, I got to turn the page on you there, Bowling Green. See ya. Peace.
You spent a lot of time with the Los Angeles Dodgers, Andy. Are you forgetting that?
I don't care.
Okay.
Why do I care? I mean, you still got to know where you came from at some point, too.
I'm sorry. I don't know why you're planting your flag on this. It's April baseball.
I know.
Thank you, Tom.
Be happy the Guardians won 2 out of 3 and
I'm
move
ecstatic that they're 2 out of 3. So
who cares what Joe Davis thinks?
I don't. I'm just telling you. Guys, come on. You can't tell me you can't take a little satisfaction in the fact that those guys were running their mouths just a little bit, and our guys came back and took 2 out. Like, if I was in the clubhouse, I'd be like, oh, Tin Soldier, huh? Oh, that's not cool. All right, let's go out and beat them.
The most interesting thing on those clips was the organ playing with a little help from my friends.
To your point.
You guys are no fun, man.
No,
this is what sports is all about. It's a little bit of smack talk. It's a little bit of, you call this Tin Soldiers? Okay, we're going to stick it. Bah.
I don't think anybody's paying attention to what Oral Hershiser says in the broadcast booth down in the Cleveland clubhouse. I promise you that.
I think you'd be surprised.
Okay.
The only reason I say that is because, and I brought this up the other day, when I was doing pre and post game, there was a game against Kansas City, and the Royals had 6 errors in the game, and it was a mess. And the guy that was producing our pregame show the next day did this awesome side-by-side of the Royals and the Bad News Bears at the same time. He got ripped, almost fired. We had a meeting about it where we had to listen to it about we have to respect, because they're both Major League Baseball teams, and they're both in that same fraternity. The Royals heard it and were super mad about it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I've had our ball club get mad at us about things that I've said.
Sure.
And you talk about Tin Soldiers is okay. I just think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that they were able to beat them twice, and that's the end of it. Because I know at the end of the year, wow, if the Guardians and the Dodgers ended up in the World Series, no one's going to say, hey, remember that opening week of the season? Oh, man, there's no way that – I don't think the Dodgers can handle the Guardians at the end of the season. I mean, I get it. I understand it. But let's have a little bit of fun with it. I love this team right now. It's kind of fun. And they went out and played 2 of the best teams in baseball and came back with a winning record. You know how you roll, man. If you can go 500 on the road, take care of business and win series at home, you're going to be in the postseason.
You couldn't ask for a much better start. And I think, the positive, the macro look here, zooming out for a second, is that, Tanner Bybee was able to get back out there quickly, which we were all worried about how he looked after the shoulder was inflamed. Gavin Williams last night was, he was Shohei Ohtani. Like he was awesome. He matched what Ohtani had done the night before. So yeah, he was terrific. Listen, the hitting is still an issue. You hope it's going to come around as the weather warms up. At least here. I mean, they played in tough conditions up in Seattle, and then obviously it was warmer in LA, what have you. The bats will come around. To your point too, Andy. Like nobody wants to give the Guardians the love that they deserve and that they've earned over the last couple years.
There's no respect for them. Again, I understand why people think what they think. I get it. I understand it, and I'm not that stupid, I guess would probably be a good word, to not understand why some people have the opinions they have. And I'm not going to sit here and debate that. But by the same token, they do have a little you should give them a little respect for what they did at the end of the season last year, the way they battled through to get 100%. To the playoffs. 100%. Give their manager some credit. Give the guys on that team some credit. Ramirez gets a home run last night. And, just because you walk into Chavez Ravine doesn't mean you're going to bow down to the Dodgers. You're going to play as hard as possible, and you're going to walk out of there and take 2 out of 3. And they should be proud of that.
I promise you that the Guardians went in there knowing that they could go toe-to-toe with that team, and they did. And they played well, and I think there was a lot to be happy about. To your point, too, Andy, like this morning on ESPN, they were showing the highlights from last night's game. And they made a big deal about the 3rd-run home run by Arias.
Yeah.
So they don't even pronounce guys' names correctly.
Right.
So, that's a thing. And listen, the Guardians will get their just rewards and their flowers should they continue to play at a high level, and I expect them to. I still think they're the team to beat in the AL Central, and there's no reason why you should think otherwise.
But you're alone, right? Yeah, I mean, you're kind of on an island. Most experts will tell you they're not the team to beat.
No, that's fine. I've been there the last 2 years, and they've won it both years.
You're right. That's why you should always trust Tom Withers. It's not news until he says so.
Yeah, good start. And, the home opener tomorrow, and hopefully the weather will hold up.
So we're looking at probably somewhere around 70 degrees, 68 degrees, cloudy. Low is going to be 49. I'm seeing that right now.
Sounds like a perfect day to me.
Yeah, that's a good baseball start. Good night.
The biggest challenge this time of the year is what jacket do you bring with you, right? It's like, okay, do I take my deep winter jacket, my midwinter jacket, my early spring jacket?
You need your satin.
There you go.
Your satin Indians, script
over.
Indians logo jacket to wear tomorrow, right?
You want to wear your Indian stuff tomorrow?
No, but if you want to tell her when you walk in the door, I'm over 50, just pull out that satin jacket. You're good to go.
There you go.
Your starter jacket.
There you go. Chief Wahoo on the left sleeve, right?
Yeah. There you go. I guarantee you're going to see a lot of those tomorrow. That's fine with me. I love it.
No, it's good.
I don't think there's it's that same. Well, like I know you don't want to compare, but it's the same. Like the thing I love about opening day is that you get that same feeling you would if it was a Browns game, a meaningful Browns game. Like everyone's downtown, everyone's wearing colors, everyone's going to the ballpark. Everybody wants to see this. It's all those little things. It's the bunting around the outside, right? I don't even know if they're still doing that or not. But most of the times when I was a kid, I always thought, oh wow, look at that! They've got their red, white, and blue bunting around the stadium. And then there's something special about Tom Hamilton standing at a podium in front of the pitcher's mound, telling you what this team is all about.
It's a great day.
I love that.
I do too.
I get goosebumps.
I'm just glad baseball
that.
is back in general. We need baseball. We need baseball more than ever right now. It just feels right. Feels good. Warms the soul.
And I think about walking into that ballpark all the time and hearing Bob Tayak's voice echo through. Bob's going through a rough time right now, so just maybe you can send some thoughts and prayers to his family right now. But
done.
To me, those two guys are the voices of summer, and it's magic. There's something so much more than baseball. It's about our community. I was laugh. Oh, it's Cleveland's national holiday. What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah. Hey, by the way,
it really is
kind of cool. I saw that the Guardians put there's actually signs now on the back of the John Adams bleachers, which I think was a really nice touch. I don't think people realized last year that had been renamed in his honor. So yeah, good for him. Like you said.
How about the blue seats all the way through?
There you go.
I think when you walk in, that's the first
now.
thing. Yeah. Unless everyone's sitting in all those seats, they'll pop out like. I walk by there all the time. I see it from the garage, and I'm just like, man, those blue seats just pop out.
And you guys probably talked about this last week when it came out, that survey that USA Today did where they ranked Progressive Field as the number 2 ballpark in the major leagues.
It's pretty good considering.
It's great.
And when you don't realize how old it is compared to the rest of the ballparks in baseball.
They've done a phenomenal job of keeping that place updated.
All right, so let's talk about Gavin Williams when we come back. Let's talk about this start for the Guardians and what's going on and how they're doing. And I mean, this is fun. Are you ready for tomorrow? Because it's here. It's time. It's time to get out there and watch a little bit of baseball, and hopefully the weather holds out for the rest of the day. Again, 68 is supposed to be the high tomorrow. So Tom Withers is in today. Nick Shook's going to join us at 11:20. Daryl Ryder's going to join us at high noon, and all kinds of cool stuff to talk about throughout the day. So we'll get to it. He's Tom Withers. I'm Andy Baskin, Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan.
Hey, everybody, it's Andy Baskin. We've been talking about
Baskin and Phelps. Tom Withers is in for Jeff today. I'm Andy Baskin. 216-474-0092. 216-474-0092. Nick Shook from NFL.com is going to talk to us coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. Daryl Ryder at noon. All kinds of stuff going on. Brown stuff going on, too. We're going to get into that. So, and we're in outer space right now, so that's fun. And it's not just me. We actually have astronauts in outer space, so we're going to talk about that too. I want to jump back into the Guardians right now because of this. I wish I could keep this feeling for the entire season. It's hard to do that when you're playing 162. I think we all do that, and I think about being excited for the year, wondering what everything's going to look like towards the end of the stretch, and then I realize I'm like, okay, it's baseball. You can't do that. You just can't do that.
You drive yourself crazy.
You will go insane.
You will. Yeah.
Trying to do that. And
which to me, why I give ball players that much more credit, baseball players, Andy, because of what the mental grind is. The literally you got to take it moment for moment, bat for at bat, inning by inning. And when you have to play 162 and then beyond, if you make it to the postseason, it is a drain. And as a fan, you want to invest yourself, but you can't get too overly invested in April, to your point. Otherwise, by June, you're dragging your tail.
I think the hardest part for a baseball player is that you could have like the greatest start on earth and have like the 3 best weeks of your life, and then the next thing you know,
it's going to adjust. Yeah.
You're down for 10 days, can't find a hit,
yep.
can't your swing gets all messed up, or all of a sudden you got some kind of mental block on how you're throwing the ball,
or you're hitting line drives right at people, those kinds of things. Yeah.
The weird thing about line drives at people is, like, coaches notice that, and so they're like, okay, I'm going to stick it out a little bit longer with this because I know it's just a matter of time before they find it. But I can't think of all the relationships that I've had with guys in Major League Baseball where you thought this guy was going to be here forever, and the next thing you know, they're gone in 3 weeks, and then they're really gone because you never see them again.
Yeah.
And you talk about the ups and downs of just playing Major League Baseball. I mean, you're as good as today. I mean, there are only – I just looked at the lineup just real quick from last night. Maybe – Ramirez, I'm just being totally honest that Ramirez and Kwan probably have the extra legs that if something, clearly Ramirez, but if something went sideways, they'd figure out a way to maybe give him some time off and then let him come back. Everyone else's job is in pencil. They all are, whether you want to believe it or not. Look at our closer from last year, right? He's done.
Yeah.
And so you go through that mental grind that you're talking about for Major League Baseball, and I don't know, it was funny. Like the first year I was doing the pregame show with Jeff, I became friends with some, like, I'll never forget, like Carl Sadler was a guy that I was friends with, right? Crazy left-handed reliever, and it was early. Brady Anderson, I was kind of friends with him too, and I was like, I'll never forget this because I was talking to Matt, and I got to know Brady a little bit at spring training. And I remember when they released him. Remember, he had a bad start, like couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked up to Matt and I was like, "Oh man, they let Brady Anderson go." And he looked at me, he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "But they let Brady Anderson go." He goes, "Dude, if you're in for the long haul, you better simmer down a little bit." And I think that's true. I mean, that's like, whether you're a rookie, a broadcaster at that point, or a rookie player, you need to realize that. Chris Antonetti's going to be here longer than anybody else.
Slow play.
The Dolans are going to be here longer than anybody else. Then you might get lucky and realize that Sandy Elomar is going to be here for a lifetime, which is great. But it's so to the difference between trying to be a fan, be a journalist, be objective, try to understand those things.
Needed. That's a great point, Andy. And as media members and as fans, you're just living and dying in the moment, right? And you don't understand the slow play that is necessary by managers, by players, by front office executives. It's like you gotta look at the entirety of the thing, and it's really hard to do sometimes.
I think the front office part, like we sit here and you're like, okay, Arias is struggling now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're sitting and you're like, I shouldn't say struggling. He's here. He's in the bigs. Like I just said, you're there, and your future is hanging in pencil, not in pen. And if you're in the front office and you brought him in, you want to give him every opportunity in the world. And so sometimes we sit here and fans are like, get rid of the guy. He's a bum. He's this, he's that. But you don't have nearly the investment that the front office does in any given player. And I just think there's a reality and that you have to be rational when you're in that job. but no one thinks about that.
No, and it's funny you say that too yesterday, because I'm up at the Westlake Rec Center and I'm talking to a bunch of guys and they were all asking Guardians type questions yesterday, and they were
which by the way is good. Like
and they were all over Arias.
Right.
And I said, you know what, the talent is there. Like the guy is a plus defender, and the swing is there. When he connects. Sure enough, third inning last night is a reminder to the Guardians of the potential that this kid has.
Yes.
And I know there's still like a backlog of those middle infielders, and something is going to have to break at some point because
everyone
Bazzana's on the way.
See Bazzana.
He's on the way. He's on the way. He's going to be here sooner than later.
Right.
That said, to your point, Andy, you've got to have the patience with a guy you've invested so much in. He delivers last night. You get a big win on the road. You hope that one swing maybe leads to a couple more good ones from him. And I like the fact, by the way.
And by the way, how many people are ready to give up on Rocchio, too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then you hit the playoffs and you're like, well, wait a minute. Wait, what are we doing here?
Yeah. And I do like the fact that they've got those interchangeable, Rocchio, Arias, Schneemann type of guys at the bottom of that order, which, you kind of ride the hot hand when you need to, what have you. And I think it gives Stephen Vogt some options. But let's switch.
So here, just real quick.
Sorry. Yeah.
But you're not. I can't believe I'm saying this. This is where not being locked in to a gigantic contract makes life a little bit easier when you're trying to run a ball club that has the fourth best record over the last decade.
Preach.
That you're not stuck with a guy.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't cut this guy. We're paying him too much. We don't really have those problems.
No, and it's it's the philosophy you have to have, to your point, when you don't have a $413 million payroll. Right. These are the things you have to deal with. This is the reality of it. The same guys I was talking to yesterday at the rec center were, again, at times condemning of the Dolans and the way business is done here. And what I try to do is explain to them that this is the philosophy you have to have in a mid-market like this. You've got to be about getting the draft right, developing young players, and letting it play out over the long course. That's the only way you can go about business.
I'm glad you called it a mid-market because it drives. I got mad at the Tin Soldiers line. Like, it drives me crazy when we start calling Cleveland a small market.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's just not a small market. Now, financially, to have the corporate boosting that some of the other cities have, that's what makes a team a large market. Like, I was just having this discussion with somebody the other day, and I know this is a little off topic, but the Monsters are outdrawing. I think Laval is the next best team in the AHL as far as attendance. And I sat here and I was like, because I was at 2 Monsters games last week, and I'm like, wow, man, there's a lot of people here. This is kind of fun. Could we handle an NHL team?
No,
I know it's been since
we don't have the market to.
But one of the reasons Columbus, there were 2 or 3 reasons why I think Columbus got a team in the first place. One, the Columbus Chill sold out every game for years. Now, they were playing at the fairgrounds, and the venue was a lot smaller than what you thought. But they knew there was a base in Columbus that would be probably, they knew they'd probably have at least 10,000 season ticket holders right out of the gate in Columbus. They also looked at the long-term planning, which they were correct on, as they rebuilt the city.
You had one of the
Columbus now compared to Columbus 2000. It's 2 different cities. It's not even close.
Yeah,
and the visionaries of Columbus saw that there'd be a market there, and then the NHL also knew that Columbus would be a good market because the only thing kind of in their way outside of Ohio State was the crew, and you still had to see how Major League Soccer was going to grow.
Well, you're
at this
right.
point.
And in terms of growth, Columbus leads to Nashville, leads to other expansion. So, again, let's get back to the guards for a second. Gavin Williams last night.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Look at him putting me back on the tracks.
Reminded us.
How about that? Pretty good. Go.
Reminded us of like the potential you talked about before and what this team could potentially do when you have that top flight number 1 guy. And I think this builds off of what he showed at the end of last season, which was that, he was unbelievable down the stretch. I don't know if people remember. I think he was 5-0 with like a sub-2 ERA over his last 6 starts. He was terrific. And this is what they need. They need either he or Bybee to really, take on that role of number 1 guy you can count on every time out.
I said this to Dan before we started talking. I'm like, that's the kind of game last night.
Yeah.
And Dan, you got to give me your answer to this because I can't wait to hear what Tom's response is. I said, that's the kind of game last night that puts you on the Cy Young watch immediately because you were dominant, and you were dominant against the Dodgers, and you were dominant in L.A. And people know, at least the people that will make you Cy Young noticed that.
100% again. Yeah.
And then Dan said this.
I don't think that's the case anymore. I think voting has become far lazier.
Oh, yeah, no, from a voting standpoint, but I think from an attention and a, give him his due standpoint, that when you go out and you outpitch Yamamoto, which has been a guy that everybody's been talking about, right? And you stuff it to, arguably the best team in baseball for 7 innings, dominant, 10 strikeouts. I think the thing that really impressed me last night about Williams was...
God, he had 8 strikeouts quick, too.
And he had...
He was flying.
Let's not forget, in that first start, he had 6 walks against the Mariners, right? And then the walks led to bad innings. Last night, he had a couple of walks where you were like, uh-oh, here he goes again. And he settled right back down. And I think that's a real credit. And as you and I have talked about before in the past, Andy, Carl Willis deserves so much credit with what he does with these guys between starts. And I know there were some tweaks made to Gavin's delivery last night, and it showed. He was terrific.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to say, Dan?
I was going to say the guy's outstanding. I think he will be a Cy Young candidate. I think we said it in the beginning of the season, that keep an eye out because Gavin Williams, if he's got that curveball working, he's untouchable. That fastball curveball, it's released from the same exact arm angle, and it is so hard to determine which is which. I mean, that guy is legit and has been legit for a while. Frankly, if they're going to the playoffs and they're going to make a deep run, that's your ace. That's your game one starter.
I also thought I was listening to an interview with Carl 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about Brad Goldberg and his influence on the pitching staff too. So hopefully these guys are all going to, whoever's out there with him working with these pitchers, are going to the University of Carl Willis, and that they'll be able to sustain this. When Carl finally says, it's time to go back down to North Carolina. I think it's time for me to.
I was so happy he came back. One of my favorite people in baseball.
Just great stories.
Absolutely love him.
You talk about the level-headed, being able to understand 162 plus. He gets it, and the guy. He's had a magic touch for years, and we're sitting here talking about a pitching coach. Let's be honest. I mean, there aren't a lot of.
And the only thing he likes to talk more about pitching is North Carolina basketball. Because as soon as I see him, man, he wants to talk Tar Heel ball. So I'm looking forward to seeing Carl this weekend.
And it's going to be fun. I can't wait until tomorrow when we get this thing moving at home. And I mean, they deserve your attention. There's no question. That was a big 7-game start to the season. And now tomorrow you get to fill up the ballpark. And not only that, but we get a little bit of chance to say thank you for last year. And then let's see what this year is going to be all about. No one expects anything, and that's what I think makes it even better. 216-474-0092. That is the number to call in. Want to hop in on what's going on with the Guardians? We're more than welcome to talk about that. But when we come back, Kirk Cousins, man, if you were thinking about him, I don't know. Maybe that's why Jeff's off today, because Kirk Cousins is not coming here. He's heading to the desert. We'll talk about that. Plus Nick Shook coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. It's Baskin and Phelps with Tom Withers.
When they're
Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. Tom Withers is in for Jeff today. All right, wait, something just happened with Connor Griffin. What happened there?
So there's some news here, and I understand before we begin this that I'm about to put a quarter into the machine, and I got to let the whole song play when you put the quarter in.
Okay, well, go ahead.
So Connor Griffin, for those of you who are not paying attention to Major League Baseball and prospects and all that kind of stuff, is a highly touted prospect for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Can play shortstop, can play center field, maybe can play a little bit of second base as
He's
well.
He's young, too, isn't he? He's
hit the cover off the ball in spring training. He is 19 years old.
Oh, okay, yep.
He was taken 9th in the 2024 MLB June amateur draft. The Pittsburgh Pirates have announced that they are calling up Connor Griffith. They were talking with him yesterday about a contract extension.
Wow.
There is talk that this contract extension may be announced as well shortly for the Pirates home opener. And so I say that knowing that a 2024 draft pick who was drafted lower than our guy has just made the majors, and now I will put a quarter in the machine.
And Dan, out of high school, this kid was touted as the next guy. I mean, I think he was like an undefeated pitcher as well in high school, on top of like batting .650. Crazy.
Out of Mississippi, right?
Yeah. So this leads
pretty amazing. But a 19-year-old straight to the bigs, basically, is what we're saying. He was in Bradenton, and then in June he was promoted to the Greensboro Grasshoppers, one of my favorite teams of all time. No, I'm just kidding. I've never heard of them.
As it should be. It's a great name.
19 to be in the bigs, man. It makes you. We always talk about Robin Yount, right?
Yeah.
How old was Rob? Robin was 17.
Are you old enough to remember David Clyde? Do you remember that name? The high school kid that came straight out. I mean, this is almost like Bob Feller type stuff.
Juan Soto, I think, was 19 when he made his debut.
Was he? Yeah.
Yeah, Juan Soto was 19. Ronald Acuna might have been 19 or 20. One in between there. Ronald Acuna Jr.
David Njoku was only. Wasn't he 19?
He was 18.
He was 18.
Yeah,
18 when he was drafted. 19 when he hit the field, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Man, this is a sign of getting old because Griffin might be the first player that I've noticed that is younger than one of my kids. So it's just
there you go. That puts it in perspective. Yeah.
Oh, there go the gray hairs quickly.
Yeah. So this leads us to a Travis Bazzana discussion here for a second.
Well, he wants me to go off like I did yesterday. I'm tired.
Okay.
People
I
calling
don't want you to go off. I just figured
he was right. I mean, like he was. I want to see Bazzana. We all want to see him play. Arias hits a home run last night, so that kind of stifles maybe some people that are like, switch it up now. I get it.
For an hour.
Yeah, for an hour, right? And maybe this is my hour, the 10 o'clock hour that I'm not gonna drain on it.
We want to see you go off like an Artemis rocket.
I did that yesterday.
Okay.
Oh, man. I can't wait till we talk about that.
Go ahead.
But no, yesterday I had a lot of people come up to me yesterday, despite the fact that, it was a war between Dan, Jeff, and me about Travis Bazzana, and I want to see him. But I also I understand why he's not here. I get it. I understand it. But there's sometimes you just, because Chris Rose was on yesterday, sometimes you just want to jump on the table and go, hey, they drafted this guy. He's the number one overall pick. We want to see him. And if this was any other sport, we'd be like, why isn't he here? Then you see other guys from his draft, Connor Griffin, that are now suddenly coming to the pros, and you're like, why are we hanging on? Then Chris brought up the whole notion of, well, maybe he's not here because of service time. And let's be honest, Paul Skeens broke the mold on that again because the rules now are if you land first or second in Rookie of the Year voting, now all of a sudden you get a full year's service time, which I think is a great idea. I wish we had more of it to stop teams from holding guys back because they want to wait till the date to bring them up. Although, wasn't there something special about the 9th? Didn't you? Weren't you saying something about that yesterday, Dan? That there's some kind of weird rule about being on the roster on the 9th too. Maybe I'm wrong. I
don't know.
You don't remember this yesterday?
All that's going through my head is Clockwork Orange. Anything but the 9th. Anything.
So I think the variable that Andy, that you've touched upon here is that it's a very different situation in Pittsburgh than it is in Cleveland, right? I mean, because of the backlog or whatever you want to call it of middle infielders, it's given the Guardians a little more time to let Bazzana get himself, first of all, healthy. The other thing too is, and back me up on this, Dan, I think if I'm not mistaken, Griffin hit like a bunch of home runs in spring. He kind of forced their hand. Like,
right.
He was clearly like the best bat that they had.
Although Bazzana looked good in spring here, too.
Yeah, and
good. By the way, he looked good for Australia, too.
Yeah.
In the World Baseball Classic. And he looked good in the very first series of the season for Columbus. Now, he backed off in the second series, so, I mean, if we're going to count him in series, again, maybe that's another reason to wait.
It is. He's also like a pulled hamstring away from coming up here as well, right? I mean, all it's going to take is something that happens.
But we just did this with the DeLauder, too, and then he got hurt. And so
he's going to be fine.
But that's not his fault. I mean, it
happens.
It
just unfortunately happens to him more than other guys, right?
Yeah.
That's it's just the way it is sometimes. Bad luck. And I don't, and I heard a lot of people, and I actually tweeted this yesterday. Like, let's not jump to any conclusions on the kid. And let's remember that with that left foot / ankle.
DeLauder, you're talking about.
Yeah, DeLauder,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
That's right.
He's had a couple of surgeries on that already, right? The team wants to be as cautious as possible with him. From my understanding is he was available last night to pinch hit. I'm not sure if he would have, come in the game or not.
Well, they said last night
that he was available.
That it looked like either was Kafis going to come in the game, because I thought I heard Matt say
somebody grabbed a bat, right?
Yeah, I thought Matt say that DeLauder was standing on the edge of
when Martinez got hit by the pitch.
Yeah, when he got hit.
Right?
Oh man, was that weird?
Yeah.
Same spot twice.
I know. Don't you?
Back
isn't
leg.
It weird? And Matt and Rick talked about this the other night. There just seems to be a predominance of that now in baseball, with guys getting hit in the same spot. And as you know, a lot of these guys go up to the plate now with basically shin guards on.
I would.
And it always feels like the baseball guys are going to get you, and the ball is going to find the same spot time after time. So I think we can all take a collective deep breath that it's not any more serious than with DeLauder. Hopefully he's back in the lineup tomorrow, and we go from there.
When I see somebody get drilled with a fastball, all I can think about is, have you ever stood in a cage? Like, I wouldn't swing the bat on it, ever.
Yeah.
I just always wanted to, and I did this a couple years back, just stand in a batting cage that can throw 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Just once.
Yeah.
You don't see the ball.
No, it's tough.
I don't know how these guys see the ball.
Yeah.
It's not that we see it on TV. It's a little bit easier. It makes sense. But stand there. I'm just telling you, it's like having someone fire a bullet at you.
Quick story. So I caught up and through college, right?
Right.
And so in the off season, Kyle Finnegan.
Wait, is that a ding?
Yeah, give me a ding.
Here
I need one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So Tigers pitcher Kyle Finnegan, I used to catch his dad in the offseason. He pitched at UNLV, and then he pitched in minor league ball.
Okay.
And he threw low 90s. And there were times where I was literally petrified back there, because he would tell me, okay, here comes the curveball. And we'd be like in a high school gym during the offseason.
Oh, that's the worst, dude.
And he'd bounce a couple in front of me, and I took some shots, and I didn't have full gear on. I always had a mask on and a cup, obviously,
right?
But not necessarily a chest protector.
At least you're wearing a cup.
Yeah, and but you're right. I mean, and then to take one off the knee a couple of times, like Martinez
same
has,
spot,
awful.
There's no way he wasn't on the plane with ice last night.
Oh,
I
no.
mean,
yeah,
I mean, like LeBron James knee.
I
icing.
was surprised, but not surprised that he was back in the game. He's a gamer, man. I couldn't believe he's a tough kid.
He looked like he was in tears when he was standing at first base, and I was like, wow, is he tough?
By the way, doesn't he look like a different kid this year with adding on 15 pounds of muscle?
He does.
He looks really good.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't walk away from him now. Either.
No.
I don't know how.
No, he's on the roster, man.
Oh man, so it'll be fun. Again, we'll get back into. We might do a little bit more. In fact, I know we're going to do more Guardians later in the show. Kirk Cousins. So what's the deal, Dan? That was like right as we walked in the door today. Kirk Cousins finds himself going to Vegas. Correct.
Correct.
I got everything right. Okay.
Tweeted out the autumn wind is a Raider, and then all of the stuff that comes after that one, confirming basically what has been reported, that he is heading to the Raiders. Played for Clint Kubiak for 3 years when he was with the Minnesota Vikings, so it makes a whole lot of sense as Kubiak is now the head coach of the Raiders.
What a smart pickup by them.
That is a smart pickup.
With Mendoza obviously penciled in to go there, a perfect guy for him to kind of, serve as his mentor. I don't know if you guys watched any of Mendoza's pro day yesterday and some of his comments afterwards. I mean, he showed why he should be the number one overall pick. Checked all the boxes. I like everything about this kid. Seems humble enough. I don't think he's going to feel any kind of, pressure or intimidation with Kirk Cousins coming in. I'm sure he's just going to be a sponge and learn as much as he can.
I'm sorry, this is the way you should do it,
yeah,
too.
It is.
We're in such a hurry to get these number one picks out, especially the number one overall picks at quarterback, getting them out on the field. I I can't tell you how smart I think it is that the Raiders
absolutely.
did that.
Yeah.
That they go out, they get a guy that can not only help him become a better quarterback, can possibly win games right out of the gate, and
perfect scenario
until things go a little bit sideways for him. He's got the job. He's a starter. He'll be the starter for the Raiders while everyone's sitting around going, "Oh, when are we going to see him?"
And Cousins has that understanding coming in. He's the perfect guy to. He's like the Drew Brees of this new age here. Let him come in, show the young kid how it's done, how to be a pro, how to study, how to watch film, etc.
How to make a lot of money while you're in the league.
Hey, there's that as well.
Who cares how many touchdown passes he's thrown? It's how many checks is he put in the bank. Wow. I mean, talk about a guy that's been able to figure out the system, way to make a ton of cash throughout his career. Did you want Cousins to come here? What were your thoughts?
I thought it was an interesting option at one point, but it just seemed like where this team is right now, and we'll get back into this, I'm sure. I still think that the focus for this Browns team is on the 2027 quarterback class, in terms of figuring out that position long term. So I thought Cousins was an intriguing option at one point, but I don't think it fits what they want to do right now.
Okay, what do they want to do right now?
Well, I think they want to obviously get another long look at Shedeur. I'm sure we'll get back into this as well. Jimmy Haslam's comments over the last couple of days, I think, raised some eyebrows because he's suddenly done a 180 on what he said.
I'm not surprised by that.
I'm not, but
I kind of think he regretted saying swing and a miss when he said it in the first place.
Maybe so. I think
from a business standpoint, it didn't make any sense to say that.
No, he's regretted a lot of things that he's done, right, in his ownership.
But by the same token, I think Browns fans appreciated the fact they're like, hey, you do see what we see, that this was not a good idea at the time.
No, true. But now you're also creating another scenario where you're trying to grasp onto something that you wanted to let go in Watson, right? And now you've maybe added.
Did he, though? I mean, do we know that Jimmy hasn't really wanted to let it go? He just kind of said swing and a miss.
He said we've dug a hole that we got to get ourselves out of, and now you're picking up the same shovel again. So I don't know exactly what. And then the variable and the wrinkle here that I think it adds, Andy, is now what does this do to Shedeur? Now, granted, I think it's good that he's going to have competition in camp, right? And I think it's good you can measure him then against another guy. The problem is with Watson is that you haven't seen good quarterback play out of him in 5 years, 6 years.
I agree. But do you think that when Jimmy talks, they've talked about what he's going to say before he actually says it? Or do you just think when you're an owner, you can...
of course they have.
They're just sometimes, I think...
There's talking points that you want to be ready for before you go into an interview situation.
And I'm not going to lie, I kind of like that. I like that maybe that Jimmy's just telling you what he really thinks. I
that's
hope
fine,
that's true.
That's fine, though, except it's a 180 from where you were a year ago.
Well, people are allowed to change their mind. Things are only true while you're standing at the podium. The second you walk off that podium, everything's in the past and anything can change. It's only the truth until you walk off the podium.
So what you're saying is he's placating, or he's trying to... you tell me, what do you think?
No, I think he's a guy that likes...
he likes attention.
Yeah, but I think he likes football.
No
I think
question.
he likes being the owner of the Cleveland Browns. I would hope so. Otherwise, I wish he wouldn't have bought the team. But I also think that he does have sort of he's got a vested fan interest in his team, which makes him unique. Again, it's not always worked out right, but I don't mind it if an owner... Look, if he thought a year ago it was a swing and a miss and it was the worst trade and he regretted doing it at the time, okay.
Well, and you're right.
I don't have a problem with him saying that. And if he thinks a year later that he's talked to the guys, they just hired a new coach.
I was just going to say he's made a coaching change, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, he's talked to these guys and he's like, all right, well, maybe they've changed my mind. Maybe they feel better. I mean, I walk in here every day and I let Mennigan and Phelps change my mind on everything. It's every day. All right,
my turn.
So let's come back. We'll talk a little bit more about Kirk Cousins. I do also want to get into what Mike Sando said about Myles Garrett. I'm a little surprised, maybe. What did Sando say? You're about to find out. Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. Nick Shook coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. Hey, everybody, it's Andy Baskin for FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days.
can't believe how many people are not liking this Cavs team with James Harden on.
Well, I'm loving them offensively. Offensively, they are at another level that I think they could have got to with Darius come playoff time. I just think that part of it I'm excited about.
The Ken Carmen Show with Anthony Lima. Weekday mornings starting at 6 a.m. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. Tom Withers is in today. I'm Andy Baskin. Jeff is off. He'll be back again tomorrow. Myles Garrett continues to be something to talk about, and there was a report from Mike Sando. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. Nick Shook is going to join us at 11:20, and I just want to spend 60 seconds on this topic real quick. Tom, we were talking earlier today, and, we are all united when it comes to rooting for or being interested in, maybe I'll put it that way, Cavaliers, Guardians, Browns, anything that is regionally related. But for some reason, that river that splits the east and the west side makes a difference sometimes. And it was interesting to hear you talk about the traffic coming in from the west side today to downtown, because as a resident east sider for the majority of my life, it's always interesting for me to hear people from the west side talk about how bad traffic is, because I've had it my whole life on the east side. Yeah. I felt bad for you this morning.
Well, and you were in Columbus at one point, too, which is like a traffic cone central.
You know what? It wasn't, when I was there, it wasn't
not as bad.
Horrible. And now every time I'm still down there, like 2 or 3 times a month. And, driving back out of Columbus, it's just, I always, it's hard for me when I come back up, 315 and I take 270 to get back to Cleveland. Because, when I lived there, it was a different way to get on to 71.
Right.
And it's just, it's
I'm
almost
convinced
like
270 West is just going to have cones for the infinity.
What they need is 370, man. They need to build another loop around the outside, and I've already planned it out in case you're wondering, because I think about this stuff when I come back. That would probably go from like somewhere north of Delaware to Newark, from Newark somewhere south of Grove City, from Grove City past Marysville, maybe. Yeah. And then Marysville's back up to Delaware.
Well, Columbus is one
Look at that. I'm already doing planning for the entire state.
Columbus is one of those cities, and I'll add Tampa and Phoenix and Charlotte. That the population has outgrown the infrastructure, and now they've got years to make up. And I think we're seeing that on the west side in Cleveland. And I'm glad that 90 is being redone, but it's going to be a headache for a minute.
Oh, I can't even. It's
all good, though. Progress.
Although I think Columbus was ahead of the game on a lot of stuff.
For sure.
Especially because everything's kind of regional there. All right, let's get to the next thing. So, anyway, as an East Sider, I'm giving you sympathy as a West Sider, especially when you said the traffic is like New York.
I appreciate it.
Nothing is like New York.
No, I know that.
Other than the Capital Beltway, which is the worst. The worst.
We'll get it fixed.
Ever. Thank you. Yeah, maybe we can get him on that right now. Let's see how Atlanta traffic isn't much better. Mike Sando, who we've had on the show before, was talking about Myles Garrett. Where was he talking about this at?
So this is in his piece in The Athletic, where he basically wrapped up the owners' meetings and talked to a bunch of executives about every single team in football. So if you care what, executives had to say about the Ravens, Bengals, thus far, you can go to that piece and give it a read. So this is what he had for the Cleveland Browns.
He said the report of the option bonus date, talking about Myles Garrett again, the report of the option bonus date moving him later for Myles Garrett makes me think Cleveland is planning on trading him. That was an executive that told Mike Sando that. Now, I think we all kind of were like, there were two things I think that folks around here were thinking of. Okay, so now they've restructured his contract, which made me think it might be a little bit easier to trade him there. And then they were all gung-ho about trying to change the rules so that you could trade draft picks from 5 years away, which made me kind of wonder if that wasn't the catalyst. Yeah. Then, Tom, like over the last week, we heard from the owners' meetings that they're like, we're not trading him and blah, 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 blah.
Adamant.
Yes.
I'll liken this. I'll tell you what, Andy. This reminds me of you're driving past Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh, is the light on?
The light is on. Oh. Hot donuts are available. So this, to me, and whether the Browns are doing this intentionally or not,
right,
is a signal to it's the bat signal to the rest of the league that
there's donuts being made.
We're open for business. come talk to us. The drive-through window is open.
Right.
Make us an offer we can't refuse. I'm not saying that they're shopping him. They're not. But I think they're making it palatable, if that's the right word, for teams to come inquire and take a look at the menu. Take a look at let's see what's on the rack.
Now that you say that, I mean, Myles Garrett did not have.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah, and then, a year ago when Myles wanted to be traded, he didn't have trouble talking to anybody, anytime, anywhere, right? About wanting to be traded. And then all of a sudden they figured it out. He said, we talked things out, figured this out, okay?
I just wonder.
I haven't heard anything from Myles in a while.
No, and he was in.
That's why I think it's also interesting that Myles is. Now, again, Myles doesn't have to talk to anybody right now. He's not. Doesn't really have any media responsibilities. No,
other than the body cam from the Ohio State Troopers. That's the last time we've heard from Myles, right? I'm sorry, that was kind of a shot.
Wow.
He has been quiet though. He's been noticeably quiet here over the last.
Did that count as a sack or no?
Yeah.
Too serious.
You do wonder though. In seriousness though, given his history, given the fact that he was adamant about being traded, right? To use that word in a different frame. You wonder what's going on behind the scenes, though, with him, knowing that this is a rebuild, knowing that that things are not looking great in terms of wins and losses in 2026, right?
Yeah,
that there's a long way to go here. That maybe he
wanted to know what the plan. Remember when he was running up and down Radio Row
on the plan, right?
He wanted to know what the plan was. What's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan? I mean, if I'm Todd Monken, I want him on the team.
Right.
Like, there's no question. You're not going to trade me anybody right now. Future picks that can't help me right now as a head coach by trading Myles Garrett. That doesn't help.
But as his value has increased over the last year, right? And you have to say that it has, right? Now being the sack king, right? The all-time leader for a single season in sacks. And, the Max Crosby situation, and then the Micah Parsons situation last year, and you saw what the Packers were able to get, had the Cowboys were able to get from the Packers, however that goes. Trade value is high for the guy. I mean, and if this team is in the rebuilding mode that it's in, they've got to consider it. And so, like I said, I think this is more a signal, Andy, that, we're willing to talk. And I know the Browns are going to be, effusive in that we're not going to trade our best player. We still think he's got 5 great years left, and we're going to build around him. But the clock is ticking.
I think what's intriguing is to look at teams that have 2 first-round picks in this year's draft. So that's the Jets, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Dolphins. And, there's always seems to be a little bit of smoke and fire because, Myles with his Texas connection. If the Cowboys came at you, I mean, they've got their pick. They've got the Packers' pick.
It's going to continue to be here, unfortunately, for the Browns.
Do you think Dallas would do it? First of all, and then,
no, I don't. I think.
And are you
to me, Kansas City would be a more likely place, only because they know the window's starting to close with Mahomes and Kelsey, et cetera, et cetera. So their Super Bowl window is shutting. It's going to, unfortunately for the Browns, Andy, it's going to continue to be a point of conversation. It's going to continue to be on the table until it's not. I mean, it's just the way it is, much like the quarterback situation now. It's unavoidable. And it's not necessarily that it's being driven internally here, because it's not, right? It's always the outside narrative that fuels a lot of this, and that's just the way it is in Cleveland. It'd be nice to hear from him.
But maybe there's a reason we're not hearing from it. I think that's possible. The point.
Yeah.
I'm also at the point now where I don't think fans would be, if the Browns got, and whether you trust the front office or not with the picks, I just think if the Browns got like a really, really good deal for Myles Garrett, I think fans would be like, okay, I get it.
I totally agree. And I think if you went out on the street and talked to fans about, their druthers, they wanted him traded a year ago when this was really hot. And before, he ended up.
I don't know. I think more so now after the. Well, I don't know. Let me think about this for a second, because, when he was going up and down Radio Row talking about trade me, I think that, if you're from Cleveland,
it turned a lot of people off.
Yeah, I mean, people are like, if you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. I don't care how good you are.
And then he went out and performed though. And
that's the hard part.
Unbelievable year.
About 2 sacks in, we forgot about it. Right? It's the same thing. It's like I say about Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, if he's a starting quarterback and they start the season 4-0, no one's going to care what happened before. Of
course not.
No one's going to care that things went sideways. They are going to believe, they're going to start looking at the stats about teams that are 4-0 to start a season. Again, we don't know who they're going to play. We don't know any of that stuff. We don't even know if he's going to start. And it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. But in his case, the past has been so sideways that you don't think there's any way to correct it. But I'm telling you, if Deshaun Watson stepped out there, and I don't have any reason to believe this is true or that it's going to happen based on what we've seen over the last couple of years, but if they came out of the gate 4-0, you'd be like, oh, I don't know. I don't remember anything that happened. Yeah. 27 lawsuits. I don't know. Did that really happen?
I'd be fascinated to know who Mike Sando's source is here, who this executive is, and what kind of agenda might be behind trying to float something like this out there to stir the pot.
But the funny thing that's come out of all of this, with Andrew Berry speaking, with Jimmy Haslam speaking, with Todd Monken speaking, is that none of them have given an answer as to why they decided to push this back.
Great point, Dan. It's what they haven't said.
It's what they haven't said. Every single, oh my gosh, how dare you ask this? I don't even want to waste my breath on it. They've all done that. Andrew Berry played that card. They've all done that, but none of them have looked the media directly in the eye when they said, why did you do this, and give a real answer.
Andy? Hot donuts.
I think you're right, Tom. I 100% think your actions will always speak louder than your words.
All right, well, we'll see what's fresh now with Nick Shook from the NFL.com, native Clevelander. Looking forward to talking to him. He was at the owners' meetings. He is going to join us next right here. Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. Tom Withers is in today.
Odyssey app for all of today's headline segments. Headline Sports News continues every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital's Sports Desk, I'm Mackenzie Flume.
Basket and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. Dan Mennigan, he is part of the show, but not today. The bigger guy is Tom Withers. I should have said Jeff Phelps, sorry. Jeff Phelps is not a part of the show today. Little brain fart there. Tom is in today for Jeff, and we're talking a lot about what's going on with the NFL. We talked about the Guardians for a while. Daryl Ryder is going to join us at noon. We're going to get into ABS a little bit later with what's going on with Major League Baseball and a number of other things. But I do want to talk a little bit more NFL and what is going on with the NFL. And we always want to bring in a good friend of the show. He is Nick Shook from NFL.com, and he will join us here in just a second on the Make It Right, Call Kyle Wright hotline. He is the Shookie Cookie, and he is with us right now. What's up, Nick? How are you?
I'm fantastic, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well,
Did you just call him the Shookie Cookie?
Yeah, tell him. Nick, we go back a long way, right?
Oh, yeah, we go back to, 2010, Andy? Yeah, back in the day, Tom, which, by the way, great to talk to you, Tom.
You
good
too,
to
my man.
Good to see you virtually here. Yeah, back in 2010 when Andy and I first got to know each other, I was in college at Kent State, and that was in the early days of Twitter when you didn't think that your username would actually carry a lasting legacy with one certain individual for the next 16 years, but here we are.
It is.
That's okay. I'll tell you what, I don't know if people know your whole story, but you total inspiration. Like, every time I'm lazy and I don't go to the gym, I think about you, and I think about how like you transformed your life in that gym. And so I don't want to say as an old man watching you in college, but I was unbelievably proud of your transformation into like this bodybuilder guy. So I know this is a little bit deep, but congratulations to you, all your success and your years of success. Because every time I see you, I'm just like, man, that guy. You want to talk about drive and determination to reshape the way
he's put together. I would pencil him in a left tackle, Nick Shook. I would.
That is true, Nick.
I'd run behind him.
Yeah.
He's a little undersized. You're undersized now.
But that's okay. He's got good feet.
Yeah, once you stop playing, you got to kind of reshape yourself. So if you can't tell, but I'm blushing. So thank you.
All right, Nick. Listen, let's talk about what happened at the owners' meetings, in particular with the Browns, and now Deshaun Watson seems to be front and center again.
Tell me about it, right?
Same as it ever was.
Right. And here's the thing. We know their situation at quarterback. We know that they don't have an answer. We know that the fan base would prefer that Shedeur take, 3 steps forward and become the guy. But I think the Browns are being realistic with it and also acknowledging that they still have Deshaun Watson on, his contract for at least one more year. And if you're going to get something out of it, you might as well hope that maybe he makes some, unexpected, significant turnaround and becomes the guy that you always thought, or at least hoped that you were going to get, which is kind of what explains, why they've taken this approach. I think they're also just leaving every option on the table. I mean, you might as well give them a shot to go try to win the job. And if it doesn't work out, well, guess what? That's been the story of the last 4 years. So why not make it a 5th year? And then retool from there. But yeah, it's funny because I caught a little bit of heat for this earlier this week, and totally understandable. But if you think about ceilings, and this is not like, a grand statement here, but between him and Shedeur, who has actually produced some sort of evidence that they could be a successful quarterback in the NFL consistently, it's been Deshaun Watson. Now, that was years ago. That was 5, 6, 7 years ago in Houston, but he's done it at least once. Given what we've seen from him over the last 4, there's not a lot of evidence that he's going to do it again, but at least you've seen it at one time. So when you're looking at this, situation at quarterback going into the new season, you think who has the higher ceiling? Probably the guy that once did it before. But I think that it's still a relatively low ceiling on both. So again, you might as well give them both a shot and see what you have. And maybe a coaching change helps with that. Maybe a whole year off helps with that. But if you're asking me, I'm not keeping my expectations very high for him. I think that, as we all kind of understand at this point, they're going to be in the market at the position this time next year anyway.
No doubt about it, Nick. What do you make, though, of Jimmy Haslam's seeming 180 here on going from a swing and a miss to Deshaun can get a fresh start under Todd Monken? Is it as simple as a coaching change that maybe has the owner thinking that this is at least salvageable for a year?
I don't think that you become a billionaire and successful in business without being able to advertise yourself well. And I think that Jimmy Haslam's done quite a good job of advertising, or at least spinning this toward a positive outlook going into this season. And I truly think it's because they have him under contract for one more year, and there's really nothing to lose. I don't know if the coaching change necessarily makes that much of a difference. It feels more like recency is also kind of aiding him in taking this shift because, look, if Deshaun were to come into this season and win the job and find success, it would not look good for Jimmy's last words on Deshaun to be the big swing and a miss. So, of course, he's going to have to reposition himself going into this season. But we also think about the resurgence of Sam Darnold over the last couple of years. We look at what Daniel Jones did in Indianapolis before he got hurt this past season. That is now the new train of logic in this copycat league that everybody is applying to any troubled quarterback situation with a player who may have come into the league with a lot of prominence and expectation and never delivered on that. Now, Watson's case is a little bit different because he did deliver on it early in his career, but he's just been nothing close to what he was over the last 5 years. And you can point to a number of different reasons that we don't really have to get into for why that's been the case. So I think, he's just kind of putting himself in an advantageous spot where he can, sit back, and if things go really well and it becomes a dreamlike scenario, he could be on the right side of that conversation. And if it doesn't go well, we'll all forget about it anyway.
All right, help me with Myles Garrett right now because the rhetoric tells me, oh, he's staying, he's going to do. We're not going to let. But the actions speak louder than words. Like, what happened with the contract? Why do what they did with the contract? And on paper, it looks like it's a lot easier to trade him because of what they did with the contract. So help me out with Myles Garrett and what you think their thoughts are on him.
It's funny because this is also related to Watson because everything with the Browns is related to Watson.
Sure.
But what the Browns have done over the last 4 years, and now this year as well, is because of the massive contract that they gave him, they've had to restructure him every year. It's a very common practice in the NFL. And by restructuring, what you do is you tack on void years to the contract, which essentially extends the contract's life, but doesn't actually extend how long they're going to be on your team. It just pushes out some of the money that you owe them in terms of cap space out into future years so that you have more to work with right now. Mickey Loomis, the general manager in New Orleans, has been doing this for a decade plus, and it came to a head about 4 or 5 years ago where I thought they're going to have to get rid of a bunch of guys because they were $80 million over the cap when $80 million over the cap was a lot more significant than it is now. And in the end, they moved on from 2 guys. One player retired, one player went somewhere else, and everything else was fine. The Browns have taken a similar approach with their cap situation in that every time they restructure Deshaun, they add on a void year or 2 void years. They push out more money into the future to create immediate cap space now. And that's interpreted, that interpretation is applied to what they did with Myles Garrett, but it's a little different because what they essentially did, from what I understand, is that they moved some of the payment times out into the future to buy themselves more flexibility to create cap space in future years. And it's a win-win in that Myles gets a larger chunk of it. It's more, I guess, I don't know if I'd use the term guaranteed, but it's more secure for him financially. It just works out for both parties. And that's immediately interpreted as anytime you restructure a contract, you're looking to move a guy. Mm-hmm. If you're restructuring a contract to lessen your cap hit, if you were to move a guy, it's a sign that you're going to move a guy. I think that what they're really doing is giving themselves more options in how to manage him in the event that they were an absolute catastrophe this year or next year, and they needed to move him, and he was, unhappy, and they wanted to get the most return on him, that they were able to at least afford themselves the possibility of doing that. I don't think it's a sign right now that they're going to trade him necessarily, because why do you trade a guy who's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year and just reset the single-season sack record when the defense is the strength of your team? It just doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're trying to build a war chest of draft picks like Sashi Brown once did, and they're not in either place right now. So I think it's more of a wait and see and still allow yourself some freedom and flexibility in future seasons, and you get Garrett to sign up for that by, saying, hey, we'll give you more of your money, at this time than we would have in the previous structure of the contract.
Nick, from a league standpoint, we're maybe headed towards, or we're in the middle of some messy negotiations between the NFL and the Referees Association. What's the latest there? Are we headed towards a work stoppage here at some point?
Yeah, it doesn't sound great. This is something that I haven't tracked quite as closely as some of the other stuff that has been happening in the league over the last few years. But every time you get an update, like, for example, I think they were supposed to negotiate or start negotiating or talking at the annual league meeting on Sunday, and it lasted like 5 minutes.
Right.
Like, it was essentially they made an offer, they made a counter offer, and they're like, all right, well, we're done here. So it sounds like it's going to be dragged out. It's gotten to the point where former Browns center J.C. Tretter, now the head of the NFLPA, had to convene with the Referees Association to kind of get on the same page about worries with player safety if what they would consider to be lower level, less experienced replacement officials were involved in the upcoming season. Kind of a leverage, move to increase the sense of importance with the existing referees. So when you see that, like when you're seeing sides pick allies in some sort of labor dispute, it's never really a good sign. So I don't think we're really that close. However, the league has taken steps, especially during this week's league meeting, to kind of insulate itself against the disaster scenario that we saw with the replacement officials in the Hail Mary back in 2014 or whatever that was. They've opened up the possibility of involving New York in some calls and kind of just giving themselves some security in the event that they don't have their referees available. So this is a classic negotiation between two dug-in parties that I don't think is going to be resolved overnight. And it's probably something that, much like last year, we talked about the tush-push for months. I think we're going to be talking about the stripes for months.
All right, well, let me throw this at you. J.C. Treader came back and essentially backed the referees on this, saying that, safety concerns are what they care about. They want to make sure they've got the best refs out there to make sure nobody gets hurt. I mean, there is a chance that the NFLPA could support the NFL. What is it called? NFL Referees Association, RA.
The NFL RA. Yep.
Yeah, NFL RA. That would put pressure back on the owners. That if the players came back and said, you know what, I don't know, we're worried about getting hurt if you put us out there, and then all of a sudden we've got a stalemate between both unions. It'd be really interesting to see what would happen if the players actually supported the referees in the situation.
Yeah, and then it's a matter of what's most important to them, because they're still going to play, because there's still going to be games, right? Like, they're not going to pass up game checks because the lesser, perceived to be officials.
Yeah, it has happened in the past. Remember the players they tried to bring in replacement players. It was when I was a kid, right? It feels like it was forever.
The 80s, right?
Right.
So
mid-80s.
Be interesting.
In their own separate labor dispute. It's not that, what's the term they always use? Scabs? It's not like scabs can't get involved in the player side, but scab referees is a little bit of a different. I don't think that's going to prevent the players who are under contract and have a collective bargaining agreement, signed and everything with the league. It's not going to prevent them from playing, but I do think it's a good leverage point, because a lot of this is, what is the narrative? Like, the NFL is a 365-day league now. It's the most popular sport in America. It's what everybody pays attention to year-round, and especially during the fall, during football season. So the conversation never stops with the league. And if the conversation turns toward, we don't have confidence in the officials, then it puts more pressure on the league. And I think that's what Treader is kind of trying to do in this scenario.
Right.
So it's kind of, again, it's just one of those classic labor negotiations where it could get a little nasty on both sides. It's funny though, because you're right. When he said that he backed them, essentially what he said, I have the quote in front of me now. It says, player safety requires trained professional officials on the field. They manage the game in real time, enforce the rules, and stop situations from escalating. That can't be replaced by less experienced crews or handled remotely. Handled remotely is the interesting part. They come out with this after the annual league meeting and what the league just did to kind of protect themselves security-wise from any further labor issues. So
it's interesting.
It's got to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
The other thing I thought that was interesting about that too was they put that rule in place that it doesn't matter who the officials are, does it? Whether they're the regular or they be replacement, that New York can chime in on any call now that would be egregious and wrong. But I would think that if the regular officials came back, that they would drop that. That they might drop. Could they drop a rule in the middle of the season? I don't know.
So. No, I don't think they dropped that, because I think that's something that people have been pushing for anyway, because we live in an era now in which we have all these high definition cameras. We have slow motion replays from a billion different angles at all of these games. And it's very frustrating to the fan. And I think the league very much understands this. When they watch the game on TV, they see a clear call that was missed or was called incorrectly, and there's no power from the league to get involved and correct the officials that are on the field. I mean, we've all been to these games, right?
Yes.
It's chaos at times when you're down there on the field.
And it's fast.
It's very fast, way faster than people realize.
Yeah.
And for these guys who, no offense to them, but a lot of them are headed toward middle age, or their professions are as lawyers and everything else, dealing with these super athletes on the field. It's hard. It takes a lot of skill to control that chaos that happens there and make the right judgment calls in a split-second amount of time. So for the league to have any sort of kind of oversight, like there's been talk about ever since the XFL came back, which is now the UFL, they've had a sky judge in the booth. That's been a thing that people have wanted the NFL to consider adopting for years, and they haven't taken that further step to do that. But the idea of New York being involved, it's beneficial from a league perspective, because they'll be able to, provide better oversight of what's going on when it comes to the rules and prevent the controversy, or at least lessen the likelihood of controversy that often comes with some missed calls in big games. But They're also, I believe, opening up a bit of a can of worms for those on the conspiracy side, which they'll always exist. But they'll be like, oh, that call came in from New York, because now a call could actually come in from New York. But it's to get the call right, not to influence a game.
Can of worms is right. Nick, we are 3 weeks from the NFL draft. Woohoo! Working our way there. I think we can now finally pencil in Fernando Mendoza or pen in Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, you think?
After his performance yesterday. Yeah. After that, I think things are a little bit up in the air. I know you've had a couple of mock drafts out, and I think you have the Browns currently taking Carnell Tate number 6 overall, obviously addressing a major need for them. Are you firm on that, or do you think that's open? Could there be a potential for best player available? Do you think the Browns have some other things to think about there at 6?
Yeah, I think that they could go in a number of different directions if they wanted to. It's a matter of how do you approach this draft. I'm always a fan of taking best player available, especially when you're taking pretty highly, because, like, let's think about it. Are you really going to try to address a need and draft a guy 10 spots too high when there's this, blue chip player who may not be the biggest need for you, but could be, a transformative player for you? You're going to pass him up to address exactly.
Yep.
So, and that's kind of what I'm thinking here is that can you blend the two? Because I think Tate's the best receiver in this class. He's the best contested catch receiver in this class, which is a skill that immediately translates to the next level, and it's something that the Browns sorely lack in their receiving core right now. I don't really care about his 40 time and all of that stuff because that's not his strength anyway. I think a little bit about Emeka Ibuka and the success he had during his rookie year before he started to deal with some injuries as a good kind of comparison to what Tate could do for the Browns, obviously with a lesser quarterback at this stage of the game. And so I'm thinking, all right, this makes sense, but are you looking toward, best player available? Because a Caleb Downs, for example, could be there. And that's why this draft gets really interesting at about pick 3 or 4 all the way to 10.
Yep.
Like Cincinnati's sitting at 10. I showed up on their podcast with their play-by-play guy, Dan Hort, great guy, and we were talking about this. And I'm thinking, man, if you had Caleb Downs fall all the way to 10, you guys should be jumping in the Ohio River for joy, because that would be a massive score for you. And it just speaks to some of these defensive players, especially just the talent that they bring to the field. It's very loaded at edge rusher. You got guys like Downs. You talk about even Sonny Styles. You know about Arvell Reese, how they both blew up the combine. Like, there's a number of guys that could still be on the board that really provide you with a blue chip player, maybe at a position that you don't necessarily need. I love the idea of them taking Downs, but I was just trying to blend the two and thinking, all right, if they're really trying to go for need and best player available, you go for Tate because it makes the most sense, with your overall roster.
For your needs, yeah.
Now, we've seen, this happen in the past where the Browns, go toward a need and swing and miss and end up missing out on some legitimate players in past drafts. But I think that they're in a really good spot at 6 to really capitalize. And I think Tate would be a very good pick for them.
Nick, I got like 30 seconds here. Just looked at your mock draft. It's been up for less than an hour. I do find it fascinating that Mendoza is, I believe, if I read this correctly, he's the only quarterback you have going in the first round, correct?
Yep. And that speaks to the class. Mendoza is far and away the guy. It's not a strong class at quarterback, but, and I know you guys already know this, you got to keep an eye on Ty Simpson and you got to keep an eye on Ty Simpson in Cleveland. And he's going to continue to gain steam as we get closer to the draft because people are starting to pick up on what I just picked up on in Indianapolis during the combine. The Browns are in love with him, I think. I believe that they are fascinated by him. Obviously, the relationship with Todd Monken plays a part in that. I'm worried that they take him at 24, but I'm also probably, for their case, more worried that another team catches on and takes him before that. So don't be surprised if he ends up sneaking into the first round, even if I don't necessarily think he's quite a first-round talent.
Nick, your mock draft is up. Go check it out. It's at NFL.com. It is there right now. It is the hottest, latest thing to read at NFL.com. And we do appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you, Nick.
You guys are the hottest, latest thing to listen to in Cleveland, so I appreciate you. Thanks, guys.
Goodbye, Nick. We'll
Thanks,
talk to you
Nick.
later. Nick Shook on the Make It Right Call Kyle Wright hotline. Can you imagine an NFL draft with just one quarterback going in the first round? Talk about that, and we're going to go into outer space next. Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. Tom Withers is in today. 2020 now.
offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
The final weeks of the NBA regular season are here, and the playoffs are just around the corner. Get ready for a Cavs run in the Eastern Conference with the best basketball talk in Cleveland. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. Tom Withers is in. We just had a great conversation with Nick Shook. If you missed any of it or you missed a moment of our show, you can always use that rewind feature on the Odyssey app. Powered by Integrated Restoration, your local experts in water, fire, and storm disaster restoration. That's our friends at Integrated Restoration. And so as we talked to Nick Shook, we're going to play some of that a little bit more, especially because the quarterback thing. We looked at his mock draft. He's got one there, and then he started talking about the Browns, Tom. What do you think?
How about that? I liked a lot. First of all, Nick Shook, great guy. He spent some time here in Cleveland, and you've known him for a long time.
Yep.
Really good guy, very personable, always enjoyed his company. He had some interesting things to say there. I like the idea that while he understands, and as we all do, the great need to add to that wide receiver room, that there are other options for the Browns there at 6. And I've been pushing the Caleb Downs narrative for a while now. If he's there, I think it's going to be a fascinating discussion and conversation that the Browns are probably going to have internally about whether or not do we add to this defense that we've got already, or do we fill a major need for this team. So, and then obviously the quarterback situation always attached to the Browns. And he's talked about Ty Simpson moving up the board, and we'll see what happens. But none of us projected last year what the Browns ended up doing in the first round, and so I think all options are still on the table for them.
All right, we're going to come back to that in a second. I do want to talk to you about something else that's bigger than sports right now. We have 4 astronauts that are just about to flip around the moon here when they get a chance to, which I just think it's been so long.
So long,
and you don't even realize it, right? And I was just fascinated by watching the whole thing. I watched it again this morning, and I just think it's so cool. They left last night. They're going to circumnavigate. Did you ever watch the path they're taking?
It's incredible.
It's like a curly Q and a spin, and then they go way out to left field, and then they're going to cut back,
hit
the boosters.
The whole thing blows my mind. Everything about it blows my mind.
And it's all they know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. I was listening to the thing about, so they've got you want to talk, I have trouble picking up socks from my room in the floor. These guys and gals that are in outer space, they've got to have stuff done on time to the precise second, minute, hour. It's amazing to me.
And they made a couple of adjustments yesterday.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, there were a couple of things that there was a short delay, and then they talked about something was because they were conveying it from Houston to the command module, that something was going to be changed by 1 second, and apparently that was a major thing, like you just talked about.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole thing fascinates me. I'll tell you what, Andy.
A lot of retentive people doing these things, right?
Right.
You'd have to be. And a genius on top of it.
As Lori and my wife and I were watching, the countdown, we were just thinking about the thousands of people who have invested so much time into this launch yesterday. And then obviously we all lived through, the Columbia and the Challenger disasters. So as it's taken off yesterday, I mean, my nerves I was a wreck for the first 8 or so minutes of this thing until we knew.
So I didn't see it live. I watched it back on tape. And so it was way better for me because I just remember getting, and I hate to say this, but I remember getting pulled into the library when the Challenger stuff happened.
Yeah.
And they made us watch. They were like, you need to see this. This is important. It's an important piece in our history.
Sure.
And so it was just like, wow. And so now when I watch stuff and you see them and then and I think a lot of it's kind of, for us, the movie Apollo 13, you watch that, and then Interstellar, you start watching stuff like that. And then, I hate to be the Marvel guy too, but different timeline. You start thinking about all this stuff that's just so bigger than we are right now. And then I'm like, man, those canisters are falling off that rocket exactly when they wanted it to.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's so easy. But then you're like, wow, how'd they do that?
No, I know. It's it's remarkable. It's hard to believe that it's been more than 50 years since we've had a manned flight and taken a shot at the moon. And I think what's interesting, and obviously you and I will probably be long gone before this happens, but the idea now is then to put men on the moon, have a space station on the moon, which is where then they're going to then shoot towards Mars in coming generations. So yeah, it's marvelous. Unfortunately, the news of the day gets quickly distracted from what we should all be focusing on, which is that there are 4 astronauts in space to some other things. But all that being said, it's a remarkable achievement, and I'm fascinated by all of it.
So I'm just looking at headlines that are like, here's the latest that it took off yesterday with 4 astronauts, the 10-day mission. Then I read this is so real, right?
The toilet problem.
Yes. What happened so far? Earlier, there was an issue reported with the only toilet on board the capsule, but it was resolved before the crew slept for hours. Didn't we know about this kind of stuff before? The astronauts woke up and performed the same routine operations before going back to sleep about 1 o'clock Eastern. Prior to getting more shut-eye, astronaut Krista Koch commented on the spectacular views of Earth, said, "We look great. You guys look great. Why this mission matters, it's a historic and risky lunar venture that'll mark the first time astronauts return to the vicinity of the moon in more than 50 years. The mission could travel farther from Earth than any human ever has, breaking Apollo's program distance record." And then it gives you this timeline of what's going to happen each and every day. I mean, what's the toilet issue? Is it like they needed a plunger?
How about the fact that when they return, the capsule will be exceeding 25,000 miles per hour. I mean, you can't even get your head around that.
No, you can't. And that you're okay inside the capsule?
Yeah.
Crazy.
You think Miles Garrett drives fast? I mean, come on.
If they come over Ohio, are they going to get a ticket from the troopers?
They ought to. No, it's pretty cool.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah.
They're just to watch it and see it, and then all the reporters that were hanging out. I just think it's great. Yes, you're right. There are other things going on in the world right now, but when you see the smart people doing things to advance humanity,
I'm all for it.
Kind of makes it a little bit more
Sign
fun.
me up.
It's fun to watch. 216-474-0092, 216-474-0092. Daryl Ryder is going to join us in just a few moments, too. We'll talk to him about not only what's going on with the Browns, but with the Cavaliers as well. And we got to give Daryl props for something on the Guardians, too. I don't know if you saw this. You think I was laughing at the Dodgers? He's laughing in everyone's face because he came up with an idea that the team actually implemented. I'll tell you what that is when we come back here in a moment. It's Baskin and Phelps with Tom Withers.
From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
If Burke Lakefront Airport goes away, what are you going to put there?
Oh, I want a ritzy country club for the elites and for the biggest tournaments in the world.
All that and what's my IQ score? Find out on the emerging podcast scene presented by Extend Technologies on 923thefan.com.
All right, Daryl Ryder is going to join us here in just a few seconds. You know him and love him as our, all-round beat reporter, covers Cavaliers, Browns, Guardians. He can do it all. But the one thing he's the commissioner of our 2026 mock draft. So here's your opportunity to be a part of the mock draft. Tom, are you prepared for this? This is going to be real interesting. 3 minutes here.
I feel like Vanna White here or something.
Call. I'll give you the number here in a second. 92.3 The Fan is looking for the winner. Be the third caller right now at 216-474-0092, 216-474-0092 to be named the general manager of one of 32 NFL first-round picks at our 2026 mock draft. It is April 16th, so it'll be here before you know it, just 14 days away. Whew. And it'll be at Game On, located on Lorraine Road in North Homestead. Plus, you will get some exclusive Bud Light stuff, swag, I guess, and a buffet dinner at the event. I mean, you want to talk about fun? That's fun. You need to be the third caller right now, 216-474-0092. The pressure will be on. Tom, are you good? Because I'm going to have you. You can show the bowl to everybody on YouTube. There is the world-famous bowl. And in just a moment,
is right here.
Someone will be a lucky contestant in this mock draft, like Chris Barnett, Chris Fry, Greg Silman, Jason Berube, Jim Brugerman. All those guys are already in. They will be your competition, and you will have the chance to participate in our mock draft. So exciting.
Well,
so much fun.
And this lucky winner will, of course, also be able to talk exclusively to the commish himself, Daryl Ryder, at this moment.
Oh, is Daryl on the line with us right now?
I'm ready to go. Who do we have?
Daryl, we do not have anyone yet. We are still doing through the venting process, having to go through caller number 1, 2, and now 3. And his name is Greg in Bay Village. Greg, how are you?
I'm real happy to be talking to you guys.
Well, we are excited. You're on the line. You are also on the line with the commissioner of the mock draft. He is Daryl Ryder, so please don't be nervous. Daryl, makes people nervous. All right, are you ready? Tom Withers.
I'm shuffling the deck.
Shake that bowl. Show everyone on
I can't see
YouTube.
any of the names.
He cannot see any. This is why it's not news until Tom. He is the threshold of ethics, and he is now going to pick.
Pull from
and guess what, Greg? Greg, you now have. Look at that! Show everybody on YouTube. Greg, congratulations! You have the 6th pick in the draft. That, my friend, means that you have the Cleveland Browns.
What are the odds of that?
Pretty good, Tom. Nice job.
I mean, you could do the math on it,
wow.
but how about that?
Greg, Commissioner, any advice for Greg
That's pretty crazy.
on this? I would assume you would tell him what everyone else tells the Browns each and every year, trade the pick.
Or don't mess it up.
Greg, are you okay? That's a lot of pressure, man.
It is. I can tell. This is a whole heck of a lot of pressure. I think I may have to trade this pick. I just don't know.
There you go. That is true. That is a true Browns fan right there.
Caleb Downs.
All right, Greg, if he's there. Greg, I'm going to put you on hold to make sure we have all of your information. Congratulations. You are the 6th pick, my friend. Thank you.
Way to go, Greg. Way to go.
Nice job.
Right, thank you.
Well done. He dialed. Well done. Like he did something.
Random, huh?
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was going to come up.
Now, I removed this from the
Yes, it is
poll,
now.
obviously.
Yes,
okay.
we cannot give that away twice.
Can I take that home as a souvenir?
Yeah, why don't you take that home as a souvenir?
Yeah,
That's
nice.
To remind you of this day. Daryl Ryder is on the line. Hi, Daryl. How are you?
I'm good. Good job by Tom picking the Browns for Greg.
Isn't that wild? Yeah.
That is.
All right, my friend. Let's talk about this for a second. A lot of talk about your Browns and what they're doing right now. What the hell are they doing, Daryl? What are they doing?
Well, right now, they're probably watching more tape. They're probably conducting more pre-draft interviews. and probably laughing at all of us at the same time.
Because we're chasing them around they know exactly what they're doing, and they're watching us just try to figure it out, right?
Pretty much. Well, we're assuming that they know what they're doing, which we've made that mistake many a time. But, give everyone the benefit of the doubt. We'll find out if ultimately they actually did know what they were doing.
I think, though, Daryl, all things, let's be fair here. I think they showed they knew what they were doing at least last year and had if not an A draft, then an A- draft, in my opinion. They kind of surprised us with the way they ended up going with, making the big move in the first round and then taking Mason Graham, who I don't think anybody had on their 2025 draft bingo card. So where do you think they're leading now? I mean, obviously, Daryl, we all know the major needs, offensive tackle, wide receiver. We were talking to Nick Shook earlier, who is the same belief that I am that, best player available, I think, has to be on the board. And I think also on the board is that they're clearly probably shopping that number 6 pick, because I think there's about a half dozen teams or more that are all in the same boat.
Yeah, I do think that the for sale sign, Tom, is on that number 6 pick. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of feel like the best case scenario for the Browns is that Jeremiah Love be there, Caleb Downs be there, and even Carnell Tate be there. So if you have those 3 players sitting at 6 and they get down that far, I think that helps Andrew Berry sell that draft pick. I think the challenge will be trying to pry a 2027 first-rounder from somebody just because of all the attention being paid to what that quarterback draft class could be. I think that is going to be a little tougher for Andrew Berry to replicate what he was able to do last year with Jacksonville, which obviously netted him the 24th overall pick here. But those are really my 3 guys, Tom. If they came away with any of those 3 guys,
I was just going to ask you.
I would be perfectly fine with.
Yeah, so that's how you feel. So if nobody takes the bait.
Which means they'll trade out of it, guys. Let's just be honest. You guys are talking so much reality, so much truth, and what they should do, Daryl, you just laid it out, and you know what's going to happen. They're going to trade.
Well, let's go back to that scenario,
all 3 of
though.
those guys are going to be there, and they're just going to come back.
Daryl, who's your preference of those 3 then? Let's say all 3 are on the board.
Well, I think Jeremiah Love is the best player. I think Caleb Downs is the second best player. And I think Carnell Tate, I'd put him third of those 3 specific players, Tom.
Right.
I'm ranking those specific 3 guys. I think the problem for the Browns is that Caleb Downs is a safety.
Yeah.
And, defense isn't exactly a priority right now, right?
It always is, though. I mean,
I know. But, Jeremiah Love is a running back. They just drafted 2 running backs last year. But he's one of those guys that you can put him in the slot. He's just such an explosive.
Get him the ball, right.
Yeah. He's just an explosive game,
game changer.
gamer. Yeah, absolutely. So that's why he has my attention. Now, do I think that is, great roster building there? No, but I'm not a proponent of passing on great players. And there's no such thing as having enough great players.
Right.
So, for all the conversation about wide receiver and tackle, obviously in this case left tackle, I feel like you always take the best talent that's available to you, and everything else is just going to work itself out. If you draft specifically for need, right? And look, I reckon, raising my hand, self-reporting here, I'm first in line to criticize them for having holes on the roster, but if you're always just drafting based on your need, you pass up on great players, and it makes it real difficult to accumulate the blue chip talent that you need to compete. They've got blue chip talent on the defensive side of the ball: Myles Garrett, Carson Schlesinger, Grant Delpit, and Denzel Ward. And you really don't have blue chip talent on the offensive side. Maybe Harold Fannin Jr. and Quinshaw Judkins are the closest you have to that. So they need to infuse blue chip talent, young blue chip talent, onto the offensive side of the ball if they want to get where they want to go, and that's making this a more watchable football team and hopefully a more competitive football team.
Daryl, what's the deal with Myles Garrett? I mean, they stretch out his contract. They do some stuff that make it look like they're trading. Then they come back to the owners' meeting and say, we're not trading him. And like Tom said, it's like going by the donut place that puts the light on that says, hey, fresh. Now we're open for business. I thought it was a great
analogy.
Great
by Tom.
comparison. Yes.
Yeah. Look, if I had $1 for every time a team said they weren't trading a player and then they traded the player, we wouldn't be having this conversation because I'd be resting on a beach somewhere.
That's probably
sipping
true.
one of those Mike Holmgren drinks with an umbrella in it.
In a golf cart?
Yeah, in a golf cart too, with my foot propped up. Well, I got to be fair to Mike there. He was in a walking boot or a cast at the time.
True.
So
with playoff tickets.
And you know, when they came up to me and said, "Hey, coach, you should be coaching," and they all looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, "No, you probably should have been coaching." But
hey, it's not business as usual here at the Cleveland Browns. I want
right.
you all to know that. But don't call me for them playoff tickets.
That's right.
But yeah, I do feel like that if they get the Godfather offer, right? I mean, Andrew Berry isn't doing his job if he does not answer the phone when it rings. Okay, that's just standard operating procedure. If they get a Godfather offer, you have to entertain it, right?
Yeah.
Do I think that the Browns are actively shopping Myles Garrett? No. So in that regard, I think Andrew Berry was being honest at the owners' meetings when he said that he's a career Brown, which is true. He's been here his whole career, and that they don't have an intention of trading him. They didn't make those changes to trade him, but let's be real about it. The changes that were made to that bonus structure, the payment plan on it, gives them the flexibility if an opportunity arises to trade him. Now, Myles has ultimate veto power. He controls where he goes with the no-trade clause. Obviously, they're not going to trade him to the Arizona Cardinals, okay? So you're thinking teams with that are contenders. And any potential trade, I think it has to be 3 first-round picks. And the reason is, by the way, that's where the conversation begins, because if you're trading him to a contender, the first-round picks you're getting back in return are going to be late first-round picks, okay? So that's why it needs to be 3. Because, again, he's not going to approve a trade to a team that is not ready to contend. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of him, talking so much about wanting to win here. So I'm not sold that he's 100% happy with the things right now coming off a 5-win season. He said, I pulled the audio from my Sunday show last week, and I played it quite a bit, where he talked about, I just want success. I don't care how it looks. I'm all in with this organization as long as we're playing to win. We're not tanking or angling for draft picks or anything like that. So, and I do believe that Myles is true to his word in that regard. I just think that right now, this whole team-building process for the Browns is so misaligned. They have a defense that's a playoff caliber, Super Bowl caliber defense, and they have an offense that's it's an insult to an expansion team. They can't even score 17 points a game with regularity. So that's I think them being kind of caught in between, in addition to, hey, we're trying to win games this year. At the same time, though, probably the best thing for them is to lose games so they get a better draft pick in 2027 to pick a quarterback. But, yeah, they're kind of caught in between, in my view.
Gotcha. Let's shift gears here for a second, Daryl, and kick off your cleats and slip on your sneakers, and let's talk some Cavs basketball.
Sure.
It's been a season of inconsistency, I think would be the best way to describe it. Where do you think they're at right now? How concerned – a bunch of topics here. How concerned are you about Jared Allen's knee? Do they have time to kind of figure out an identity here going forward? Where are you at with just a handful of games to go in the regular season?
I don't want to be negative, but I do think they're in trouble. I think Jared Allen is a lot more important to this team than I admit this, than I have given credit for in years past. I didn't feel that Jarrett was all that important, but now with James Harden in the mix, I think he's a crucial piece here. That the tendonitis in the knee that really does concern me. Their health concerns me. I mean, they've not been whole the entire season. I've lost count of the variety of starting lineups that Kenny Atkinson has had to use. Right, and even with all those challenges, Tom, they're still top 4 seed in the conference, and right now I kind of want them to be the number 4 seed, even though the New York Knicks are trying to lose their way. The Knicks are trying to angle for the same thing. The Cavs' secret is out. So I am a little concerned. I think they got, 6 games to play. I just Kenny Atkinson said a week ago, not a lot of time to work on the rotations and things like that leading up to the playoffs. That got my attention. But as he said, hey, we'll just do what we've done all season and we'll make it up as we go along. So hopefully they're able to find whatever combinations they need in the postseason to get themselves through that second round. But I'm not as confident as I was about 3-4 weeks ago. I will admit that. But I do think they are deeper, I should say, than they were last year, and I think they're a better basketball team than they were last year. It's just it'd be nice if they could be healthy for a change, so they could give these teams their best shot.
Speaking of health, Daryl, what have been your impressions of Donovan Mitchell? I mean, we've not really seen the same explosiveness from him in the second half. I know he had to deal with that groin injury.
Yep.
What is your concern level in terms of Donovan and his health as we get ramped up towards the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen this the last couple of years, Tom, right, where we get to the end of the season and he's gassed. And they've made concerted efforts the last 2 years to really watch his minutes, right, not to overplay him, not to burn him out. But then, as you mentioned, the groin injury pops up, and look, those things flare up. And they're not going anywhere unless Donovan Mitchell can be healthy and give you as close to 100% as possible, right? I mean, I kind of still feel like he's the engine, even with adding, James Harden, right?
No doubt.
And so, yeah, my number one concern about this team has nothing to do with their talent, their ability, the coaching, none of that. It's 100%. Can they be healthy enough to compete at the level that's required for them to advance? That is my number one concern, and it's unfortunate that they've gone through what they've gone through this year. But I'm going to, you know what, Tom? I'm going to flip it into a positive for a second, right?
Attaboy.
They've dealt with so many injuries this year, and they've been forced to try so many things, right, and play without guys.
It's built your depth, et cetera, right?
Right,
Yeah.
and so whatever gets thrown at them in the playoffs, it's not gonna be a shock to the system because they've already had to deal with it.
True.
The problem in there is again, you don't have your best players available, right? So, but I do think at least they're battle tested enough to where they've dealt with so many of these injuries. They've still been able to win in spite of them. Maybe that is something that they can turn into a positive to help them as they go through the postseason. But health is, chief concern, and has me a little nervous about their ability to get through that second round, especially if the New York Knicks tank their way into the fourth seed, they bump the Cavs up to number 3. I do not want to see the Boston Celtics in the second round, because then we're going to have the same conversations we've been having for the last 2 off seasons.
All right, Daryl, before we let you go, first of all, I got to give you your props for suggesting to the Guardians a fan-friendly thing to do, and you called it, you did it, and they should be thanking you. But also, I know you were at What's New at the ballpark. What is new at the ballpark?
I got to tell you, the new food, steak. The steak sandwich is my all-time favorite new item that they've added, but they've added a bunch of other stuff too.
Why? Why is it?
I don't know. It just I obviously I'm a big steak guy.
Okay.
But it just hit right. Okay. That's all I could say. They got a new spicy chicken sandwich, is pretty good too. But yeah, they are still working on the third base side by the team shop there, that patio area. Okay. That is still under construction. It
Behind
should be
the
done
stands?
That should be done by the end of April. They got a new marketplace stand on the first base side that they did. They renovated a concession stand on the second deck, make it a little more fan-friendly for fans to be able to just get in there and get what they want and get out of there without missing a lot of the game action. I'll say this. They did a great job preserving that ballpark and modernizing it and updating it. It looks great. I think fans will enjoy the changes. And then the Guardians of Traffic photo, social media photo area, that's on the third base side. So you can stand there and you can pretend to be one of the Guardians of Traffic, which I think is really cool.
That
was my idea.
That's right.
That was my idea. I said that like 2-3 years ago when they unveiled the City Connect thing. Mm-hmm. They had that big block C in right field where fans could do that.
Yep.
Yeah, and but that's
Good
on
job.
the third base side. So
I am proud of you.
Look at you, Daryl. Nice job.
And you know what?
Mr.
Anything
Marketing.
I can do. anything I can do to help these teams market themselves, I'm here for them.
Good job. Daryl Ryder, as always, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. You're a good man.
You bet, guys. Have a good one.
Peace. All right, talk to you later. He is Daryl Ryder. He covers everything for us. Let's just be honest with you. Fantastic job letting you know what's going on at the ballpark. Time for 2020 now.
And, of course, all of Daryl's segments are powered by Scheib & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
92.3 The Fan, 2020 Sports.
Cavaliers are preparing for the playoffs in a few weeks. They're hoping to enter the postseason fully healthy after putting up 18 points and 4 boards in the Cavs' loss to the Lakers on Tuesday. Jarrett Allen told Cleveland.com his knee is still sore and he's not feeling 100%. No word on Allen's status yet for tonight. The Cavaliers are out in San Francisco to wrap up their West Coast road trip facing the Warriors. Tip-off from Chase Center is at 10 o'clock. Kirk Cousins has found a new home after being released from the Falcons last month. The veteran quarterback is headed to the Raiders on a contract that is reportedly worth $20 million. Quentin Kubiak told the media at the NFL owners meetings that Vegas was looking to add another veteran quarterback to the roster, and they got their man in Cousins. Browns are getting ready to jumpstart the offseason just 3 weeks ahead of the NFL draft. Mary Kay Cabot reporting Deshaun Watson and Jerry Jeudy have been working out together in South Florida, and the team will be kicking off their offseason program in Berea on Tuesday. Guardians have the day off today. They'll be coming home from their season-opening West Coast swing where they went 4-3. The team is kicking off the home opener tomorrow at Progressive Field. They'll be hosting the Cubs. Joey Cantillo set to get the start for the team's first home game of the season. You can listen to the Fan Rewind weeknights from 11 p.m. to midnight, all the best segments from all our shows, and you can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline Sports News every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
It's back. 92.3 The Fan proudly announces the return of the Fan's 2026 mock draft. April 16th at 7 p.m. at Game On at 24108 Lorraine Road in North Olmsted. Tune in weekdays at 9 a.m., noon, and 5 p.m. to be named GM of one of the 32 NFL teams. Plus, you'll receive exclusive swag and be treated to a buffet dinner the night of the event.
With the first pick.
It's the Fan's 2026 mock draft at Game On in North Olmsted. Get details at 923thefan.com.
It's tax refund season, and Bob's is bringing the wow back. Get wow-worthy prices on best-selling pieces like my Playday sectional with pop-up sleeper for just $7.99. Wow. I've even got flexible financing options on feature-packed bedrooms and Consumer Reports recommended mattresses. Whoa. And with tons of styles ready to ship and old furniture removal, you can get your new furniture fast and easy.
Wow.
So don't forget, your tax refund goes further at Bob's Discount Furniture.
Oh, my Bob.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win, like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Hey friends, Ken Carmen here for Window Nation. Spring is a great time to get those windows open, except maybe your windows can't open. Do they leak? Are they cracked? Do they need repainting again? Getting top quality custom fit windows from Window Nation is easy and affordable. During the More You Buy, the More You Save sale, you could save up to 50% off. Plus, you can get them with 0 interest for 5 years. During uncertain times, one of the best investments you can make is in your home. Save big with Window Nation's The More You Buy, the More You Save sale. Visit windownation.com now.
Batteries Plus presents Power Ballads.
Unless you live in a cave, you need batteries. For cars, boats, and smartphones to keep life a breeze. Did you know we sell key fobs? We program them too. From lithium to 9-volt batteries up the wazoo. Batteries Plus, there's no problem too large. Batteries Plus, we're the experts in charge.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hear Westwood One's coverage of the Final Four this Saturday, starting at 4 p.m. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Tom Withers is in today for Jeff Phelps. It's Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. Hope you're having a good day. It looks like the weather's going to be good for tomorrow. What would you see the forecast is?
It looks okay. 75, chance of showers here and there. Typical Cleveland day. It's not going to be 35. It's not 2007 where we got to worry about a snow opening. Yeah.
The snow opening.
Snow opening.
Or Grover turning on his old team.
My poor wife, Lori, will never go to another opening day because she is still scarred by 2007.
Really?
It was a really long day. Now, mind you, she had little 7-year-old TJ running around. And
he was probably loving it,
and
though,
my
wasn't
younger
he?
brother, who was the equivalent of a 7-year-old at the time. No, I'm just kidding. So she was. That was a long day, remember? And there was really no place to hide. I think they.
I found a couple places to hide that day.
Well, I'm sure
Although we
did.
were in the press box. We
you got a credential. It's easy for you.
But yeah, if you were, the old restaurant was a good place to hide along the wall.
That's one of the more memorable opening days, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was
for a
just
lot of
like-
reasons. Yeah.
All right.
But anyway.
All right, let's go to basketball here for a second.
Go ahead.
If the season ended today, the Cavaliers would play the Atlanta Hawks. Their season series is tied at 1 each.
Dangerous young team, by the way.
But it also means you can play them 2 more times. So
I got you.
Let's play this game here really quick.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. So let's just say the Cavaliers happen to not beat Atlanta twice. First of all, which team do you want to play? We probably start there. Do you want to play Philly? Do you want to play Toronto? I'm not real excited about that either.
I don't want to play the Philly team that put up 153 last night and has a healthy Joel
Yeah, but
Embiid.
I think everybody put up 153 last night, didn't they?
Just about.
It's so
crazy.
I forgot it was give away your defense night across the NBA last night. But so if the season ended today, it's Cavs and Hawks. And what's really interesting is that you kind of look at the standings, is Toronto dropped back again. So Toronto is now sitting in the seventh spot, and Philadelphia is in the 6th spot now. And I know people are talking about the Knicks, too, about how the Knicks could end up falling and flipping with the Cavs. They have 5 games left, so it's like, but then, who are the Knicks? The Knicks still have, I just was looking at their schedule. The Knicks have, as I scroll quickly, Chicago. They also play Atlanta. So Atlanta, 3 of the next 5 games for Atlanta are either against the Knicks or us.
Wow, that's interesting.
And they also have Toronto, too, which also could be a game that figures out who gets the spot. And then you ask yourself, well, do these teams get into games where they want to lose? Like if the Cavs wanted to match up against Atlanta, if they lost both those games, they could find themselves playing Atlanta.
Okay,
if that's what they want to do. Again, I'm not saying
I know what
this
you're
is
saying.
the way things have to play out, but I mean, if you do a little, I don't want to say manipulation to your
All
own.
right, here's my bucket of cold
your own
water.
lineup.
Here's my bucket of cold water on your manipulation, right?
Okay.
The Cavs got a lot of things to still work through.
Yeah, they need to worry about the
They
Cavs.
really do. They've got to internalize this and worry about rotations. And as Daryl mentioned, health, which we've talked about all season. The Harden-Mitchell combination, how that's going to work best. Jared Allen's knee. There's a lot of things they've got to be concerned about other than where they're slotted in against a first-round opponent. They can't think that way.
All right, who do you want to see them play in the first round? You can think that way.
If I had my druthers, I would think the Hawks.
I can't argue with you.
You're the same way?
Philly scares me. Toronto scares me all year.
Yeah.
I was just concerned about the chemistry. I think we all are.
Now, is Charlotte far enough back that they're not really in the equation right now? They're because that's a team that scares me in general, just with their ability to score, their ability to shoot. If people haven't watched the Knipple kid this year, he's a marvel, hands down rookie of the year.
Charlotte's 15. I mean, is it possible?
Well, if these other teams are so concerned about where they're going to be,
well, the Cavs can't.
They can't catch them.
They can't catch the Cavs. No,
but can they catch the Hawks?
Yes.
/Sixers. Yeah, they're right. They're like 4 games
in
back,
that little mix.
Yeah.
And,
so, and you know what? I'm trying to avoid that Orlando Magic team as long as I can. It's another team that scares me a little bit. They're
irritating.
And I think, Andy, when you start thinking about easy paths or whatever, that's when you get yourself into trouble, right? Which is why I'm saying it's got to be that singular focus on what do we need to do to get better? What do we have to do to make sure we are maximized when the playoffs begin? So
let's be totally honest, okay?
Go ahead.
If you could just pick one thing to manipulate, it would be don't play Boston in the second round. If you can manipulate one thing.
I would think so. That's
the one thing.
That's your easiest path to the finals. I don't disagree with that, particularly if then they're going to have to play the Knicks in what would imagine being a grueling 6 or 7 game series, right, before you get to them. I tell you what, though, the way Boston's playing right now, man, look out. Look out. And you know what they're figuring out, too? Missoula is, and oh, by the way, coach of the year in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Missoula is figuring out that it's best to have Brown and Tatum out there separately, not necessarily playing together. They combined for 68 points last night and didn't play that much together.
Yeah, that'll make 8-2 in your last 10 games. Do you think it's kind of lackluster that we're sitting here with 5 games to go and we already know because they have the play-in tournament? I don't know that we wouldn't. It would be in the same boat if they didn't have the play-in tournament because 7, 8, 9, 10 are all within 2 games of each other. So even with 5 games to go.
2.5, you're right.
Yeah. So with 5 games to go, we'd still have, that to me might be more exciting than having the play-in tournament.
Yeah.
But we know now, and we've known in the West forever, Tom, who the 10 teams were going to be in the playoffs because of the drastic drop-off between the Warriors and the Pelicans.
Yeah.
And the Warriors, and the Cavaliers play the Warriors tonight, by the way. But we know the 20 teams that are in the playoffs right now.
Right.
Whether it's and I'm talking about play-in through. Is that kind of lackluster to the end of the season? We're still jockeying for position, but it's not jockeying to get into the playoffs. Like, would it be exciting to sit there and go, oh, Orlando and Charlotte? If those 2 teams, they're totally battling out because they're in a dead heat right now at 40 and 36, and sometimes that makes it more exciting, I think, for the end of the season.
I agree. Hey, can I rewind you for a half a second? You know what to me is one of the most underrated stories this year is the San Antonio Spurs and Wemby. I watched him last night. Andy, he had 25 and 10 in the first half. And I don't know if you saw Kerr after the game was saying it's like watching a guy playing a Nerf hoop. And that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
And just his skills, the fact that he can go out, 25 feet and knock down a shot at 7'10" or whatever he is just incredible. And he plays with such a force that I wasn't sure he was going to be able to do because of the way his body is. So anyway, I think that's been an underrated story all year. They're on another 10-game winning streak.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to win 10 games in a row?
Impossible.
In any sport. And then to watch them be able to do that.
And by the way, if we're looking out west here for a second, do not look past the Denver Nuggets, especially if Jamal Murray is healthy, because they've got the best player on the planet on their team, and they're capable of doing anything. So
crazy spread, though, between the Spurs and the Lakers. I mean, there's an 8-game drop-off there.
Mm-hmm. But to your point, we've kind of lost a little bit of the magic of the end here. But I think the Cavs are in a good spot. Again, it's all about their health and Kenny Atkinson figuring out exactly what he's got to work with going forward.
All right, let's do this. We will regroup. We're going to do some headlines. We're going to talk about opening day. I want to talk about ABS, all these cool things that are going on. But I also want to remind you, as we close in on the upcoming NFL draft, check out the Fan Offseason Special each and every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 with Jake Volnick, Lance Reisland, and Daryl Ryder recapping all of the latest Browns news and moves this offseason in free agency and the draft ahead. You can listen right here on 92.3 The Fan, stream us on the Odyssey app, and watch every episode live on YouTube. That's the Fan Off-Season Special each and every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 right here on 92.3 The Fan.
Joey Cantillo set to get the start for the team's very first home game of the season. You can get all the latest Browns news pushed straight to your phone by following the Browns playlist in 92.3 The Fan in the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. Look who's here. It's Tom Withers. Jeff is off today. We want to remind you, as always, you can listen to our show, any of our shows, local shows right here on The Fan, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You know what time this is? One of my favorite times of the show. Let's just do it. Let's just do headlines. We don't even need a reason. Just do it, Dan. Live from the 46-second newsroom, here's Dan Mennigan. We can't afford to hold 24 hours.
No. Yeah, we don't have that in the budget yet.
Not yet. We're hoping for it. We're hoping for like a minute newsroom.
What's the title of this?
Headlines. Very creative.
Headaches?
We quite literally refer to it as
Headache.
headlines.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe that's not a bad idea.
Wait, what was it?
Headaches.
Headline? Headaches and headlines.
My mom always told me that more of me was a headache.
Wow.
How do I check out?
We'll figure something out.
All right.
That's why it's literally called headlines until we come up with a better name.
Jeff loves that. What else do you want to call it?
I don't know.
The Jumpstart at noon?
No, we're not rehashing old ideas.
You know what? That's what radio's all about. I mean,
Yeah.
can we be honest? We all stole every one of Les's ideas.
Of
Who
course
else's
we
ideas
did. Then we call them less lines? We're stealing all of his
Less is
ideas?
more. There's something there with Les. God bless Les.
Less lines. Yes.
I miss Les.
I do too.
At least once a week goes
If
by.
you need a good laugh, I'm just going to tell you this. I can't believe I'm saying this is morbid. Go out to where he is resting, and on his tombstone there are golf balls and baseballs, and on the back of his headstone, it says, "Of all the shows I've ever done, this is my last."
Does it really?
I just love it. I love his family for putting that on the back. It is just
Nobody would love that more than Les.
I know.
Without question.
I know.
Without question.
And I just he's real close to my family's.
Sure.
Real close. And I just, every time I walk over there and I just go and I are you supposed to smile when you go to a cemetery? I smile when I go out there because I think about all those days that he was sitting across from me and I just laugh. I laugh. Some of the funniest moments ever. I mean, Jeff and I have been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
But there were just some Fridays when Jeff was off and it was just me and Les. And I would roll out of the chair.
Yeah.
And sometimes I had to run to the bathroom too.
No, we should celebrate Les's life every chance we can. I'm with you.
Good. All right,
I'm with you.
Andrew Wiggins in 4 years might be as good as Kevin Love is today.
It still makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah. There's so many of those with Les that are just all-timers.
Today?
All right. We will begin headlines with something that came out of a really, really kind of fun athletic piece, if you get a chance, by James Edwards. Guys, Jared Allen needs your help. I don't know if you realize this or not, but Jared Allen needs your help. Apparently, he has been wearing the same style of shoes, the Nike Kyrie 3 TB black and whites, ever since 2022 when he made the All-Star game. The problem is they do not make the shoe anymore.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I'm sure Kyrie's got some, don't you think?
Allen told
Not
The
his size.
Athletic, I'm on my last pair, and as I find them online, I buy them as soon as I can, but I haven't found a new pair in the last 1.5 years, so the run might be over with those. So if anybody knows where Jared Allen can get a pair of Nike Kyrie 3 TB black and whites,
help
him out.
What size?
Give 17 probably. Give Kyrie.
Yeah, 17.
I guarantee there's a warehouse full of those somewhere.
I'd say the piece does not have the shoe size in there, but
yeah,
the PSA is out there to anybody. If you can help the man out, he needs a couple more pairs of kicks.
Do those shoes make you mad at LeBron and make you want to leave Cleveland? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
soon?
They've held up pretty well for Jared Allen.
Too soon?
Do they have something to do with his knee problem? That's what I'm wondering.
Ooh. Yeah, huh.
That's a valid
Maybe
point,
he needs
too.
a different sneaker.
I was being salty. You were being serious.
No, I'm just...
But yeah, so everybody out there, keep an eye out. If you stumble upon a
By
pair,
the way,
there's a man who needs them.
Real quick, how about the arc of the Jared Allen story, though? He's gone from Let's trade him
Let
immediately.
him go to I
Get him
can't
out
live
here
without you.
Like, yeah, where would we be without him? I love the guy, too. He's so refreshing.
It's almost like he's a James Taylor song.
Yeah, could be.
Where would we be without you? I don't know. I'm making it up. Maybe James Taylor will do a song about that.
I think there's a title just with that on it.
We'll get there.
All right.
Yeah.
So, you want to call James?
Get
Or
on
is
the
he too
horn.
worried about the Celtics? He's a gigantic Boston fan.
I know he is.
Gigantic, yeah. Okay.
So,
Sox.
Swaks.
Go Swaks. So, 9 News in Denver is reporting that there is a 0% chance that Aaron Rodgers is signing with the Broncos, and that this might have been an April Fool's joke by the Broncos.
9 News.
Gentlemen,
Exclusive. Yes.
are we done with April Fools? Have we done enough
Oh,
with
I
this?
don't know,
Has
man.
this
I
gone
saw
too
some
far?
great ones.
There was, PTI did a good one yesterday. I did see that.
Yeah, the PTI one
But
was
by
pretty
and
fun.
large, you know what? I was so conditioned over the years because the AP got burned a few times on April Fool's jokes. So there would be that we would get on the 31st, there would be an email from the entire company. Beware, because tomorrow is April Fool's. So any calls coming into the office, into the bureaus,
We
etc.
still get it. We still get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to watch yourself.
Oh.
It jumped the shark a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't think you were around, Ben. There used to be 2 ABC channels within the viewing area where we live now. And Channel 23 out of Akron had their own ABC station, and there was a guy that I give a lot of credit for me even sitting here right now, a guy named Pete Michael that did sports there, and he was on for April Fool's Day, and he got on the air one day and said Hot Rod Williams had been traded. And I mean, you can't trade anybody right now. You couldn't then, and you can't now. And he got in a little bit of trouble over it. And I was just like, oh man, that sucked, because Pete is a great guy. He's got family around here still. And anyway, it was just he did that. And like, to me, that's the ultimate April. But there were so many April Fool's jokes. My favorite yesterday was somebody put this out. I know hockey, shut up, Andy, but they put out
hockey. Shut up, Andy.
So they put out this thing where, and this isn't just hockey. This is basketball. This is for soccer, baseball, where there's a lot of these tournaments. You probably know this. That when you go on the road for youth, it's pay to stay or play to stay. Is that what they call it? I think so. So basically what they do is they tell you what hotel you have to stay at. They jack up the rates at the hotel, and then whoever's running the tournament takes the cash from that.
Cottage industry, yeah.
Yeah, well, there was it was a hoax that was yesterday for April Fool's, said that these tournaments that are sanctioned by USA Hockey at the time would be fined $25,000, and they would no longer be able to host tournaments. And I was like, I wish this wasn't April Fool's. This is kind of a good idea if you think about it.
Right.
But that was one I saw. I saw some crazy ones.
Did you see
online.
the WNBA team here announced that they were going to be called the Ohio Wolverines with the maize and blue color? That was kind of cute. Yeah,
that was good.
There were a lot of good ones.
There have been a couple ones that were pretty good. But
yes. Now back to our regularly scheduled Instagram, right?
Yeah, well, my favorite one was still the PTI one, and all the people just losing their minds under the PTI clip that they had out there because they didn't watch it.
They did it well too,
They
right?
did
I mean,
they sold it
they
like
pulled it off.
champs.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, the bad one was when radio stations would tell you the wrong time. Oh, that was bad. I remember when I was young, they would do that. I've always said that every once in a while we should just completely switch up the shows on April Fool's Day, just mix up all the pairs so it'd be a little confusing. You think? I mean, we have to fill in every once in a while. I like doing the morning or the afternoon show. I like doing the morning show. The boys in the afternoon deserve a lot of credit because that 5th hour, man,
a grind.
It's a long, it's a long show.
So the big story also blowing up the NFL right now is the piece that ESPN's Jeremy Fowler put out, where basically it is not putting Jalen Hurts in a very good light at all, including the fact that a source within the Eagles organization believes Jalen Hurts is not the most coachable player. Also following up saying there's poor body language, not always bought in, not the most coachable, and players notice. A source told ESPN describing Hurts as resistant to suggestions to tweaks to the offense. Quote, though there is plenty of blame to spread, Hurts has had a hand in the offense becoming calcified. Woohoo! That's not good.
Super Bowl winner, I'll take him.
Yeah, I wouldn't have any. These are just daily occurrences in Cleveland. Come on in, man.
Push back on changes that would diversify the scheme, sources said, including when it comes
What do you
to
gotta give up to
going
get
under
him then?
center more.
What do you got to give up?
For Jalen?
Yeah.
First round pick.
Yeah,
My
I would
guess
say
be
at least
6.
one first round.
At least one, yeah.
I would think, yeah.
Well, doesn't Andrew have a lot of ties there to Philadelphia? Are we talking about this?
Oh, you're starting some trouble.
I'm just connecting the dots. That's all. That's all we do on the show.
It's just funny to me. It's just funny to me how we're in that time of year where now all of a sudden, oh boy, there's problems in Philly. It's like, no kidding. We've known about this. This is not new.
No, and I think Jeffrey Lurie came to his defense yesterday, saying that he's got the work ethic that we need. He's our guy, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of.
Oh, that means he's gone.
It might be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, as well, a little bit of contract
fresh
news
donuts.
that is coming down. So,
fresh donuts. That's right.
So Kirk Cousins, of course, heading to the Raiders. Okay.
Donuts.
Also well known that Kirk Cousins is very, very good at making sure that Kirk Cousins gets paid. Well, he's done it once again. He has signed a 5-year, $172 million deal with the Raiders. That is 1 year fully guaranteed at $20 million with a club option of 2 years for $80 million. So the Falcons this season are going to pay Cousins $8.7 million. Then the Raiders will give him $1.3 million to then pay him a fully guaranteed $10 million roster bonus as well. Kirk Cousins knows how to make cash.
So wait, how much is he making here?
So he's going to end up making $20 million for this season, and if it's good enough for another season after that, he'll make more money.
So that takes him.
Outstanding.
That puts him at, like, if I'm right, $350 million for his career.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kirk Cousins and Kirk Cousins' agent, whoever that guy is.
Wow,
that dude's good at what
It's
he does.
$1 million
as well.
for every interception. That's incredible. I'm sorry. I like Kirk Cousins, though.
I like him, too. I take him here.
That is Kirk Cousins' agent, man. That guy is a true Hall of Famer. So,
all right. So, but what was the other thing? He's got. I'm trying to remember. How many kids does he have? I'm just trying to figure out the inheritance there.
They'll be in good shape.
Look at me. I'm like, man.
Talk about an agent. You're splitting up the money between the kids?
They'll be in good shape. I wouldn't worry too much.
Nah, they're fine.
Oh, are you kidding? Wow. They'll never have to touch a football day in their lives. Right? My dad was like, Andy, I never want you to work in the mill. I worked in the mill. I just, it's one thing. Please go do something else. Don't do this. He's like, kids, I never want you to pick up a football. You never have to pick up a football. Rough life. Opening day is tomorrow. Let's get ready now. Ready? We'll talk a little bit about the weather. We'll talk about the lineup. We'll talk about them coming off this West Coast swing. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to your Cleveland Guardians, and I'm pretty pumped about it. I hope you are too. 216-474-0092. Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. Hey, everybody, it's Andy Baskin for FanDuel. That's right. Right now, new FanDuel.
weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
There's only one place to hear breaking Browns news. This is the radio home of the Cleveland Browns, 92.3 The Fan.
Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. We'll talk about opening day here. Just a couple seconds. Tom Withers is in. For Jeff, 92.3 The Fan is looking for a winner. Enter the code. Today is what, Thursday? BUY. B-U-Y. BUY. That's what the code is at 923thefan.com. You need to do this before 2 o'clock for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Great Lakes Collectors Convention and Strongsville Sports Collectors Convention. That is April 10th to the 12th. It's at the Independence Fieldhouse. Plus, you'll be qualified for the grand prize, an autographed meet and greet with former Browns Pro Bowler Joe Hayden. Get tickets at greeniesportscards.com. That's Greenie, greeniesportscards.com. Your chance to win right now. The word is buy, and you just need to go to 923thefan.com before 2 o'clock. You've heard me talk about it before. I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a great time. They have tons of collectibles out there. Trying to think. I was out there last year. Have you ever gone?
Where are we going?
To the collectors. It's at Independence Fieldhouse.
It's usually
Greenie Sports Cards does a great job.
It always seemed
year.
to conflict with something else I had going on, but I would be interested.
The fascinating thing, I don't know if he's back or not again this year, but Rob Senderoff, who is the basketball coach at Kent State, is a gigantic collector, and like last year had a booth at this thing.
Now, is this
so
all kinds
cool.
of memorabilia?
They have all kinds of stuff, but a lot of cards.
A
lot of cards, but the vendors that are in there, they're awesome. They'll sit there and talk to you. But like, I was floored when I sat there, and I was like, "Oh my God, Rob, what are you doing here?" And he was just like, "I have been a collector since I'm a kid. Totally into it. It was very, very cool."
So I recently,
I'm going to tell you, I've run into some major bigwigs at this thing over the last 2 or 3 years. Like people that own sports teams in this town have been there just like looking at the collectibles. And I was just like, what? It's awesome. A lot of fun.
By the way, I recently unearthed a shoebox full of.
Your mom didn't throw them away? Tell me.
I don't know if it was my mom. I think it was. No, my mom. These are ones that my brother and I collected. They're mostly like 70s and 80s. Baseball, football, a little basketball in there, all kinds of stuff. I'm sure there's something in there that fetched me a couple bucks.
It's great. I think back, my brother had a great baseball card collection too. And, unfortunately, I think he left it out once when we were kids. And
in the rain? Or
No. Left it out while Mom was cleaning.
Oh.
And she's just like, what are these things?
Garbage.
Threw them away.
Yeah.
Little did she know she probably, would have 3 mansions right now if she would have just hung on to them. I'm just kidding. All right, so opening day. Let me just start here because you're not here tomorrow. So first of all, the weather's supposed to be pretty good, right?
Good.
That's where we're starting with that.
Yeah.
What does
survivable?
I always laugh at this, but what does opening day mean to you?
Just the winter.
Home opener. I should say home opener.
The winter is almost over.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's the newness. It's the fresh start. It's the, here we go again. You mentioned it before, Andy, just how long the season is. It takes you back to some good memories as a kid. I think there's just a freshness about it, a chance to see, people that you get along with all in the whole collective getting together in the stadium type scene. It's such a national holiday here in Cleveland. It is everywhere, but especially here. Plenty of people will be calling in sick tomorrow and making their way down to
It's okay. It's Friday, right?
No, it is fine. It's Good Friday.
There's a lot of, there's just a lot of things to do when you get to, I can't believe this is 33 opening days at the ballpark at Progressive Field. That's
selfishly,
crazy.
from a media standpoint, it also meant a lot more work because there's always a little bit more that went into opening day, particularly here in Cleveland. Now, we don't have the same nickname protests that we had for years, which I had to cover every year.
Really?
On opening day, yeah, that was always the thing. Just because from a national standpoint, that always was kind of a story.
I'm not trying to be. I'm completely sensitive to the situation. I always found it to be a little underwhelming. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just like
the size of the protest. You mean?
I, and so when you would read it, like I remember being in Montana, I was like, wow, man, these protests are getting bigger and bigger every year. And then towards the end, I was like, okay. But I respect the people that fought the good fight.
Same.
To change they were out there. The majority of those folks were consistent every year, and they held true to their beliefs. And I respect
I'll be honest
that.
with you, it opened my eyes and opened my heart to some real empathy towards their fight for it. So anyway,
the hard part for me though was like when I lived in Montana, we were like 20 minutes, half hour from the reservation,
sure,
and like totally got it, like understood.
Yeah.
Maybe, if there's no reservations in Ohio, but yet all of these things are, I find it fascinating because we have so many Native American words that we talk about every day, and you don't even think about it.
Cuyahoga.
That's the easiest one.
Yep.
Right. So I don't know. I still find the whole thing fascinating. I still laugh at all the people that said they were never going to go again, and now they're all back.
Yeah.
Right. All it takes is winning.
And the other thing too is that it was always good for, from a media standpoint, to see the colleagues you hadn't seen all winter.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. They've been hibernating.
Get the band back together, so to speak, in the press box, and so that was always nice. And it's always a good day. And then the great thing is that it's almost like not amateur hour, but there's. People come out of nowhere, and the press box is about as full as it gets until you get to the postseason. So day 2 is always a little easier day at the ballpark.
A little bit of a parade tomorrow too. Did you see this?
No.
At 2:00, George Thomas, our good friend from the Beacon Journal, actually had this, and I didn't even realize this until I read his story about it. It sounds like at 2:00, there's a lot of folks that are gonna head. They're gonna start at the West Side Market and just kind of come over the bridge. Where the Guardians are, where the Guardians
that
of
makes sense.
It totally makes sense. Like, why is this the first time this is happening? Especially since they've changed the name. So they're gonna have a little bit of party. There's a DJ and live music over there, and then they're gonna have vendors and mascots and games over there. And then Slider is gonna lead a parade across the Hope Memorial Bridge over to Progressive Field. That's kind of cool. At 2:00, that's gonna happen. So, but you also want to make sure you're in your seats. And like I said before, that you get into the home opener, and it's just something about I don't know why it seems so silly, but it's just for some reason, like I always like the pageantry and just having Hammy stand out there behind a podium. It's
just a different day.
It's different. It's like, and maybe it's flashbacks to World Series during the 90s, or it's just the atmosphere and everybody's in a good mood. And Les used to say this. It'll be interesting to see. Unis without your last name on it. That used to drive Les nuts. Drove me nuts too. Like, if you had an all-new roster, why would you not put the names on the back of these guys?
Very important. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I don't know what they're wearing.
You mentioned that bunting before. We bought some of the bunting from Progressive Field.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we bought one of those giant.
Do they still have it? I don't even know if they're still doing it or not.
I think they still do. But anyway, we have one at home that we hang on the holidays off the house, which is pretty cool because the thing is ginormous. And you should mention as well, Andy, and I'll turn this over to you. The ceremonial first pitch tomorrow.
I'm excited.
Is being thrown by whom?
Layla Edwards. High tie. Well, no, she didn't go high tie. Cleveland Heights. Close enough.
Gold medal winner?
Yeah, she's got to wear the medal.
From the Milano Cortina Games?
I don't know. Would you wear the medal to throw out the pitch?
Are you kidding me?
I don't know that I could. I think it would be a distraction.
She can take it off.
I think you have to take it while you throw it. The other question is are you throwing it from the rubber or are you throwing it in front?
No. You're going out there with your hockey stick
and
lifting the ball to the plate.
That is such a great call.
Thank you.
Wow.
Daryl didn't come up with that. I did.
That is a great call.
The record will reflect as such. Tom Withers.
You have some you have some context. Why don't you make a little suggestion?
Wow. I'm going to I'll text her dad. I just texted her dad.
Because she could easily do that.
Ding.
Right? She could easily do that. I mean, it'd be much more easy for her to do that maybe than throw a pitch.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure she's a multi-talented athlete.
Oh, my God. Do you know how cool that would be?
Let's go.
Hey, listen, Guardians, what you need to do is they make it's like plexiglass.
Just
put that on the ground and then put the ball there, and then she could just shoot it.
She could lift it right off the grass.
Oh, no, it's not as easy as you might think off the grass. So you just put a piece of plastic down. That's all it is. They're called, I mean, I want to say shooter tutor. They're not. They're just this.
I got you.
They're just this plastic that you put down. The kids use to learn how. That is a brilliant idea.
Thank you. I'll be here for 50 more minutes.
I'm calling Curtis Danberg.
Okay.
Vice president of fun over at the ballpark.
He is the vice president of fun.
You can tell me that if she does that tomorrow, that's on every station everywhere. And it's also trending.
Maybe they already planned it. I don't know,
and if she shoots a strike, even more money. It doesn't even matter if it doesn't make it, right?
You send Hedgie out there in goalie pads.
It's getting better by the second. Oh my God, I love this idea.
Got a new career brewing here.
Yeah, maybe market you and Daryl Ryder.
Thank you, Dan.
Withers and Ryder, marketing limited.
Is he marching across with Slider in the parade?
He may be.
Now that he's the guardian of the galaxy here.
He may be Slider. Who knows?
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Never seen them in the same place.
There's no way. Dan, what goes through your mind when you think about opening day? I know we're going to get to some of the stuff tomorrow, but I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited for the way they're playing out west, and I want to see. And by the way, is that not a great idea?
Oh, it's phenomenal. All of this is phenomenal.
Layla, you got to shoot the ball tomorrow. It's over. They just need to bring out one of those plastic shooting pads, put it out there.
Don't even need that, though. Just need
You do. I'm just telling you. If you want to have control of the ball.
I do. I'm sorry.
If you want to have control of the ball, you're going to have to do that.
Okay.
Maybe you could put it on the rubber.
I'm sure they've got
from there.
I'm sure they've got something down there that would suffice to get her to.
Tom, I'm going to be disappointed because she's going to do a traditional throw.
Okay.
That's what I think is going to happen. Now, you want to go money? Shoot it backhand. And throw a strike.
Or even if she wears her hockey gloves and throws it. Something.
Yeah, you can't do it with hockey.
Okay. Yeah. But you want the gold medal on.
Wear your helmet? No, that'd be silly. You wouldn't do that too. Just shoot it.
I think shooting it with the hockey stick's a fantastic idea.
It's awesome. Please.
Yep.
Guardians, do it. I'm telling you. She'll get it close. It'll be close. We won't need ABS. It'll be close. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. Opening day is awesome because it's basically the unofficial start of summer. I mean, that's what it is.
Right.
Every time the ballpark opens, I just think of sunshine, warm days,
right,
and a summer, evening sitting there watching
couple
baseball.
Cold beers, a hot dog or two.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Whether it's the yard itself opening or the fact that now every single night, pretty much every single night for the next 160 nights, you're going to have a friend with you while you got the grill going.
Quick question, Andy. First game. What was your first game? What was your first opening day?
I can't. I'll be honest. I wrote about this week too. I can't really remember it. I do remember, when I went to games with my dad. It was never. We were game two people. We were never game one. We were grandstand manager family. The big thing was to go to a Sunday or Saturday doubleheader. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
And you would walk out of there and bat day or rain poncho day. I know everyone knows. You can smell it. You can smell it, especially if you're within my age range. You smell that red Indians rain jacket you got that had the three little flaps underneath that let the air out, and everybody wore it to school the next day, and it was awesome. I'll never forget all of those days. I hate to say that probably one of my most memorable opening days was in '87 at the old ballpark, and I wrote about this week. So bad. So bad that my favorite memory was this guy who we were in the upper deck. I was with some buddies from Kent State, and we were sitting in the upper deck, and there was somebody who wanted to partake in something that's legal now for the most part. Dan, you with me? You got a better. I'm just trying to think of another word. So this guy who was probably
smoking dope.
Yeah, smoking dope. Yeah. I mean, he was maybe early 40s, late 30s, and he starts smoking it, and we're all sitting around. We're like, wow. We're the college kids here, right?
Yeah.
And so I was laughing. He had a kid who was 7, 8, 9 years old, and the kid started freaking out. He's like, Dad, it's the fuzz. The fuzz are coming. And I'm like,
funny.
Oh, my God, this is unbelievable. And the dad just sat back, took a puff, looked at him, and he goes, they're just a yellow jacket. They're Andy Frayne. They can't do anything about it. And I'm like,
there you go.
I'm like, oh,
game
man.
on.
And the kid was like, oh, I see, Dad. Not a big deal. When we come back, is ABS working? And you'll get to see it for the first time at home tomorrow. Is it working? There's numbers out there right now that'll tell you the answer. Baskin and Phelps with Tom Withers.
start for the team's very first game of the season at Progressive Field. You can listen to The Fan Rewind weeknights from 11 p.m. to midnight, all the best segments from all our shows, and you can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. 216-474-0092. 216-474-0092. Tom Withers is in today. Jeff is back tomorrow for opening day. Home opening day. I got to stop saying that. The ABS system. I love it. I think it's great. And I also like how fast. It's really fast, too.
Yeah.
It does have kind of a tennis feel to it.
Very much so.
When they go to the...
It's got a U.S. Open feel to it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so just give me your general thoughts on this.
Like it. Don't love it. I still like the element of human error, I think, is a big part of sports. Now, I want them to get it right. Don't get me wrong.
Why? Does it have to be?
No, it doesn't have to be. I just like in this world of the robots are taking over and AI, I just like...
I'm kind of okay with it there if they get it right in sports.
Get it right. I got you. Well, especially in this gambling, betting world that we live in. That's what everybody's concerned about. So I get all of that. I'm not going to kick you off my infield quite yet.
Okay, good.
I like it. I think it's fascinating, and I had mentioned this to you the last time I was in with you, even watching it during spring training, how this was going to develop during the year and how teams were going to have to develop strategies towards this, how quickly guys, whether it's the catcher or the batter, are going to be able to ask for it. It seems like they're already allowing there to be a verbal challenge as opposed to the double tap on the head, which seemed to be the thing.
Here's what I started thinking about, because remember last year somebody got booted. Didn't somebody get booted for tapping their head?
Yes.
During the season last year?
I think it was a twin who did. I can't remember.
Because he thought it was a bad call.
And they wanted it, and they were joking about.
Oh, and the ump didn't like it.
No,
the ump tossed him. Here's my concern. Little leaguers and high school guys are going to be doing it now. When they think it's a bad call, they're going to turn around to the umpire and double tap their head. I love it in the stands. I think it's cool.
Are you good with Game 3 of the World Series hinging on a tapped helmet strike call?
If it's correct, I have no problem with it.
Okay. Here's the problem I have. With the DR game, the DR-US game.
Well, yeah. They might still be playing, right?
That was infuriating.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that was not a strike in any way, and I wish we had replay for it.
What happens, though, in Game 7 of the World Series when it's not in and you don't have any challenges left?
Ooh,
that's
trouble.
And it's just a bad call.
Yeah. I do like also.
That's how I don't like.
I like finally.
Your hands better.
I'll say this too. I finally like that fans are being educated to understand that just takes a nick of the ball to touch that box is a strike. So when I hear people complaining about, that inch and a half or whatever the circumference of a ball is, that's what it is.
Yeah.
This is how it works.
And then remember, it's coming in. If you're throwing at 100 miles an hour, it's still hard to see. So you could understand why an umpire, when a catcher frames, you can understand why an umpire would call a strike or a ball. More a strike.
I like the fact that it's kind of heightening the drama in some ways, right, Andy? I was a little bit, and Dan, and I was a little bit worried about it, slowing the game down, but that doesn't seem to be a problem at all.
They're so fast on it.
And you're right. It's created this drama moment. It's become one of the funnier moments in baseball is when somebody goes, there's a challenge on the field, and you see everybody see it and go nuts if it's right for the home team.
Well, and I like how quickly
it's so fun.
To your point, I like how quickly, though, the umpires turn around, let everybody know that it's coming, that the batter is challenged, whatever, and then everybody focuses on the scoreboard, and off we go.
Yep.
All right. So two things that come up, and I said this the other day. Although the younger batters they've had this for a while. How long have we been using this in the minors?
Oh goodness, a couple of years now.
3 years.
Yeah, about 2-3 years. Everybody's had enough time.
So I think that the younger batters are probably more accustomed to it and should be better off at challenging. I just think there's going to be a point where there's going to be a young guy that wastes one early on. And they're going to use another one where maybe they were close and didn't get it.
I agree.
And it's going to hit the 8th, 9th inning, and Aaron Judge is going to be at the plate, and it's going to be a bad call. And I like Aaron Judge. I don't think Aaron Judge is ever going to get mad like that because I just don't think he's that guy.
No.
But you know as well as I do, if you're in the league long enough and you become salty and you're a veteran and you saw young guys in the beginning of the game blow a couple of these challenges and you weren't able to do it late in the game where you might have been in a position to win the game, man, you got stuff getting thrown in the clubhouse.
Great point. And I think you're already seeing this. If you've noticed, I'll even watch the Dodgers and the Guardians the last couple of nights. There were some pitches in the first few innings that were borderline that they just let go. They were like, got to take my lumps here and just kind of sulk my way back to the dugout because you know what? Hosey might need that call in the 7th inning. So that's a great point. So I do think the evolution of the strategy here is going to be fascinating as we go forward.
Then there's the other argument about this thing too. It's just like, well, if it's going to get it right on every pitch, why don't we just use it all the time?
Oh, see, I don't like that.
Okay, so here's why I don't like it because I love this strategy, the cat and mouse game of when to use it and when not to use it.
I think it's interesting also to see if they're going to end up giving them an extra one. Like, will this eventually evolve to like get three or what? Yeah, I think this is going to be a little bit.
But if you're wrong, it's meaningless. How about Booney going crazy the other night? Was that CB Buckner? He was mad at?
No.
Who's the guy that missed 6? I thought the Yankees the other night. I thought it was.
Derek Shelton went off.
Oh, it was Derek. It was Derek. You're right. I'm sorry.
Twins, yeah.
I got my former Indians confused.
It was Derek Shelton, and it was due to the fact
the timing, right?
It took too long.
Yeah, the pitcher took too long to challenge it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just okay. So first of all, by the way, Guardians fans, we're not good at this. Our team is not good.
This is a work in progress for the Guardians.
We are,
to say the least.
I mean, we are at dead last place.
And you know what's interesting about that too? So they're 2-10, 2 wins, 10 losses in challenges, and I thought Rick and Matt did a good job of talking about this last night, which is that Bo Naylor could be gun shy now, right? Because once you've not had any success with this, and let's say you've lost your last 4 challenges in a row, you start really second guessing yourself, much like you do as a batter, as to whether or not you saw what you saw or you didn't see what you saw. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'd love to have Sandy back there. I think he'd get them all right. But you look at this is weird. ESPN has us at 14.3%, and the other one we were looking at
17%.
So Baseball Savant has
which is run specifically by Major League Baseball.
Baseball Savant is
all of your StatCast data, all of the fun stuff that you see there, all gets dumped onto that website from Major League Baseball.
And the other side of the spectrum is the Baltimore Orioles are 12-2,
right,
in their challenges.
So ESPN also grades out the umpires. CB Buckner was taking a lot of heat, and then he got hit last night, right? Ugh.
Took one off the mask.
So
hope he's all right.
Yeah, I kind of. So he was at like 77%.
Well, and he was really under fire, Andy. Just so you know, he was really under fire the other day by missing a call at first base, where he ruled that the batter did not step on the bag, and in fact, he had.
Yeah,
our old buddy Jake Bowers was the one who was running.
Jake Bowers. That's right. Yeah.
So I'm just looking through. So ESPN has umpire ABS challenge leaders. Eric Bacchus is. There are 1, 2, 3. Is there anybody? There are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 who haven't had any calls overturned, but they haven't had very many questions.
Challenges, right?
Which makes you think, well, these guys are pretty good umpires, right?
And that's the other thing too.
It promotes good umpires too, and makes bad umpires kind of stand out.
And that plays into your strategy, Andy. Going into a game, we know that umpire X is behind the plate.
Right.
Like, here's what we should do. I know.
So if you're looking, but then again, part of this might be how many times through the rotation with 7 games in, right? We only have, there should be, well, it depends. You play a 4-game series. Everybody gets a shot behind the home plate, and then a 3-game. So these guys should be going through their second rotation right now of calling balls and strikes. So Eric Bacchus, here's I got to tell you, I don't like this. Here's what I don't like. I don't want to know an umpire or referee's name.
That's what I was just going to tell you.
I can't stand. I don't want to know your name. You are a part of the woodwork, and if you're really good, I have no idea who you are. That makes you a great umpire or referee. Tom, no offense, but I hope no one knows who you are.
I'm with you. And I tell you what, I'll take this and we can go to a little bit of a tangent here on this.
Sure.
What drives me crazy about the NBA right now is how much it's slowing the game down. And you've got a guy like Keon Ellis, all due respect, Keon, 4 seconds into the game last Friday against the Heat, he's asking Kenny Atkinson to review a call.
Right.
4 seconds into the game. Like, come on now. I also think it's interesting that you have on the benches in the NBA, and we've also seen this in the NCAA tournament, you have guys assigned to seeing that quick replay and deciding whether or not the coach should make the challenge. So, I don't know. This is just the evolution of sports today, and I'm okay with most of it, to your point, Andy, as long as we're getting it right. Just don't slow it down too much. It brings a whole other wrinkle into it, though, doesn't it? And then some.
Yeah, the other part is that, for a long time, the NFL referees, they were like stars because the NFL was the first to put a microphone on a referee.
They're going on strike, by the way.
I know. But they were the ones to turn to the camera and said, offside, offense, number 73. And now, all of a sudden, you start looking at their NFL referees and you start to know their names and you're like, man, that guy's in shape. Oh, look, now his son is, I, again, if you go back to it, you want referees and umpires to be a part of the woodwork, but every sport now, the hardest part for me.
The scrutiny on them is incredible.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that are out there, by the way, that are held to a margin of perfection. They've got to get everything right. I'll be honest with you. So when I refereed this year, I would bring the kids together for the captain's meeting before the game, and I would say to them, one of the things I would say to them is that, hey, you guys are going to miss some shots. I'm going to miss some calls. Let's just both try to be better together and have some fun. Now, that's at a lower and lower and lower level. It's just with gambling, with everything else is involved here, Andy, it leads me to think that we're heading down a slippery slope, because we are.
Yeah, but is the job of a referee to get every call right? No. The job of a referee is to keep the game moving and to make sure that no one, ultimately, especially when you're talking about youth, just trying to make sure no one gets hurt.
And without referees or with umpires, it's practice.
Oh, you're right. Although I've seen referees at practices before.
Well, but you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you're saying, but we don't, their job is to do that. And I can tell you at the younger levels, I'm thinking of one whose brother I ran into last night, who's famous family here. The reason I think this referee is really, really good is because he knows he's human, and he will skate over to you and say, maybe a minute after a call, especially if you don't.
I missed that one, Coach.
I missed it.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
No.
You know what? The other argument I'll never have, I don't know if we ever had this talk, you may see something that happens, and it might even be egregious, but if the referee is doing what their job is, they may not be in position to see what happened. And when a referee comes over to me and says, Andy, I didn't see it, I'm like, okay, I'm never going to argue with you because I can't expect you to see everything always.
By the way.
And then the other one part of it, especially with youth, are referees that when a kid gets a foul, maybe I don't know if you do this or not, but when you call a foul on a kid and he looks puzzled, or if they get a penalty, you just explain to them what happened, and so they learn the game. So no one's playing for gigantic money when we're talking about kid stuff.
Yeah, so I try to do that. I try to pull a kid over and say, hey, here's what you did wrong. It's part of the education process. Oh, by the way, 2 weeks ago, I passed my baseball exam.
Oh, congratulations.
I'm going to be umpiring this spring and summer.
Are you doing high school or are you doing?
No, you can't start out in high school, but I'll be doing travel games of high school level kids. So, yeah, it'll be fun.
Wow, look at you.
We'll see.
All right, do you want me to throw stuff at you or yell at you? Or
please don't.
Can I please get one insane baseball dad or an insane baseball mom to come down here just for training? You should just have parents yell at you.
Hug a ref. Hug an ump.
It's just practice if they're not there. Come back. I want to touch on one other thing that we haven't touched on. It's a major thing going on, and it's kind of under the radar right now. We'll talk about that when we come back. Tom Withers is here. Andy Baskin. It is Baskin and Phelps, 92.3 The Fan.
I'm Pat Boyle here to help you get the books of Western One Sports. The Pistons host the T-Wolves, and I think defense will be on display just like the
team's very first game at Progressive Field of the season. You can get all the latest Browns news pushed straight to your phone by following the Browns playlist in 92.3 The Fan in the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Meredith Kane.
Basket of Phelps, 92.3 The Fan. Another fantastic day with Tom Withers. Jeff is back tomorrow. We will talk to him. Nick Shook was with us today. Daryl Ryder was with us today. We've talked about all kinds of fascinating things. Kirk Cousins is going to the Raiders. We hopped into that. We talked about Mike Sando talking to some executive in the NFL saying that he thought that Myles Garrett is probably going to get traded. Talked about the Guardians. We get ready for tomorrow's game where the weather looks like it's going to hold out. It'll be good. You got the Cubs. Seems weird, Cubs, right?
Cubs are in town.
Yeah.
I know.
Even after playing them in the World Series.
It's almost as strange as the Guards playing out in L.A. against the Dodgers.
Kind of liked it, man.
I know, I liked it
was
too,
one of
but
those other
it's
things
a rarity. It's a rarity, yeah.
But now, you're done with them, so you won't see them for the rest of the season. But I just think it's always, I don't know, because we're seasoned, I guess. I don't want to say we're old, but we're seasoned when it comes to.
We're 10 soldiers. Is that what you're going to say?
Maybe no, Oral Hershiser. We are not. But I find that interesting. Also coming up, on Saturday we got the Final Four, and then we got the national championship game for the men and
women's Final Four. Friday and Sunday.
You got 2 Big Ten teams in there. I thought it was interesting.
Got 3 Big Ten teams in there.
Oh, you know what? Arizona.
No. What am I thinking?
No,
2. My bad.
Yeah, Illinois, Michigan.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I saw a survey 2 days ago, and it was showing states and who they were rooting for. I think it was USA Today that did the – I could be wrong, but I thought
know,
it was
they do that typically. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think they're interesting. Yeah. Who are the people of Ohio rooting for?
Illinois.
Dan, who are the people of Ohio rooting for?
Arizona.
Okay, so my first thought was they'll never root for Michigan, right? Before I even looked, I was like, I wonder who Ohio's rooting. And then I was like, they'll probably root for Illinois because they're in the Big Ten. UConn.
Really?
I have no answer. It just UConn was the winner. And I was like, wow.
It's all those transplanted Easterners that have made their way out here. Guilty as charged.
Skewing the votes. I got knocked out early in our thing, and Arizona is like the only thing I had going for me. And I'm probably in last place in our station bracket.
So I'm not going to brag here, but I will for a second. I've maintained all year that Arizona and Michigan were the 2 best teams, and that's kind of become the de facto national championship to a lot of people. I was also kicking myself after doing the brackets that I didn't take that Illinois team deeper because that's a very talented team that can beat you a multitude of ways, and Brad Underwood is one of the most underrated coaches in America. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. Should be 2 excellent games. And you can boo Danny Hurley during the game if you need to.
I'm trying to figure out where I am in my brackets. No one cares, though. Andy, face it, no one cares about your brackets.
I was 2 up until Iowa State got beat. I picked Iowa State to win it all, and unfortunately that injury to their All-American forward kind of wrecked their run.
And Dan won't do them. Jeff didn't do brackets this year.
Why not?
I don't know. I think it's just fun. Yeah, why don't you do brackets?
It's un-American.
Yeah.
So what happened was I wasn't enjoying the tournament.
Because of the bracket?
Locked up. Yeah, I know.
I was just getting upset. And I mean, we're talking, I'd put like $5 for a bracket. Nothing bad, but it would actually just like make me angry that I wasn't getting joy. And so one year I went, I'm done with this. I'm done making deposits into my friends' college kids' funds.
That's why I don't gamble.
I would rather just sit there and enjoy the chaos and root for utter chaos. And ever since I did that, I've enjoyed the tournament more.
Gotcha. Understandable. It's been a good tournament, as always.
It's been an awesome tournament.
Always delivers, yep.
I just realized that I named my team Apathy by Sweet 16.
That checks out. That checks out for you.
Oh, man. We have 30-some people in our pool. I'm already looking. I had Arizona. At least I had that. That was the one thing I knew. I'm in 17th place, I guess. Too bad there's only 18 people in it. But
there is a former Guardians manager who is beyond thrilled that his Arizona Wildcats are in the Final Four, man.
Does he keep talking about it?
He loves the Cats, man. It's unbelievable.
That's all he would talk about at spring training.
Yeah. He's a hoop junkie, too.
I don't think I have any. I have a chance for
forget it.
115 points. I have no
Enjoy
chance.
the games.
I'm just trying to think of the highest place I can come in. I could probably come in fourth place, but fourth place.
And
Not
before I
even close.
forget, happy Easter and happy Passover to everybody out there.
Yes. Hope you have a good weekend with your family.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, what's on the agenda for you?
For me?
Yeah. And then you're covering Guardians over the weekend.
Covering
right?
the Guardians on Sunday. At this point, I'm not planning to go to tomorrow's game. That could change. I'm honored to say that I am now an honorary BBWAA member. Card member.
Is that good or bad?
It is good. I'm an old guy.
How long before you have a black and white picture up on the wall in the back? Or that's a Cooperstown thing?
That's Hall of Famers.
Oh, that is Cooperstown?
That'll be Hoynesy next.
Why don't we have a Cleveland thing?
Shout out to Hoynesy. That's coming up this summer.
Yeah, I'm excited for him.
I got to figure out a way to get up there. The missus and I, it kind of falls in the same weekend, I think,
True or false?
as our 30th anniversary, so we may go up there.
Well, maybe she'll want to celebrate.
We got married up in the Finger Lakes, so we're going to
say that.
Perfect.
We got married
Will
in
his speech start with a chuckle?
Yes.
The famous Hoynesy chuckle.
And I hope there's a hawk call in there.
I was going to say he should open with the hawk call.
I think
gotta get a hawk call.
No, he's got to end with the hawk call. Can you explain to people what the hawk call is? Because we sit around and we know.
The hawk call, it began when Hoynesy was playing on the Marquette rugby team, from what I understand.
Okay.
And somehow this Native American type of scream that he does became something that Famer would be the host. And you would pick out.
Ingram's a Hall of Famer too, isn't he?
Should be.
If he's not, he belongs there.
Yeah. He'll be on the ballot at some point if he hasn't been already.
Yes.
So anyway, Sheldon would take each of the 1 through 9 innings, and each sports writer that would want to participate for a couple of dollars would pick out a half inning.
Yeah.
And then Hoynesy would pick out a half inning at the end. And if Hoynesy did his hawk call in your half inning, you won the pot.
Yeah.
So this went on for years, and it was one of the joys of covering Guardians/Indians home games.
Home and away.
What do you do away games?
I want to say he did it. Maybe I'm wrong. I want to say he did it on the road too.
I saw Hoynesy.
My favorite thing is to see people who are in the press box that have never heard it, and they're like, "What the? What was that?" And maybe he doesn't do it on the road.
I saw Hoynesy at Camden Yards. This is the 1997 ALCS. Get forced to do about a dozen hawk calls at a media get together over several beers. Was it John Marone? Was that his name?
It was with the Indians.
So then he was with the Orioles.
Yeah.
And he wanted to show everybody in Baltimore what the hawk call was all about. So poor Hoynesy, like I said, he probably did a dozen of them.
I got to tell you, that was the day I felt like I made it. Was the day you guys let me pick one for the first time.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like,
welcome to the club.
I was like, wow. I'm in the fraternity now, and I really didn't even get hazed. This is awesome.
Funny.
That was I was like, and I didn't care if I lost every week. I was just excited to be able to pick a piece of paper out of the hat.
Yeah.
Meredith Kane, do we have a moment of the show?
We most certainly do. Our moment of the show came from Nick Shook and what he had to say about the Browns' feelings on Ty Simpson.
You got to keep an eye on Ty Simpson and you got to keep an eye on Ty Simpson in Cleveland. And he's going to continue to gain steam as we get closer to the draft because people are starting to pick up on what I just picked up on in Indianapolis during the combine. The Browns are in love with him, I think. I believe that they are fascinated by him. Obviously, the relationship with Todd Monken plays a part in that. I'm worried that they take him at 24, but I'm also probably, for their case, more worried that another team catches on and takes him before that. So don't be surprised if he ends up sneaking into the first round, even if I don't necessarily think he's quite a first-round talent.
That was a Shooky Cookie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Shooky Cookie. He joined us at 11:20, Daryl Ryder at noon. We ask you this question at the end of each and every show. We ask you, why are you smarter for listening to Tom Withers today and myself, better known as Baskin and Phelps, with Tom Withers. It's brought to you by QC Kinetics, the leader in regenerative medicine. If you're in pain, give QC Kinetics a call, 216-770-5488. Dan Mennigan.
Our social media mentions are powered by Shipen Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. You can always send a message to the show at CLE Talking Heads. Smarter today because Nick Shook saying what he said in the moment of the show about Ty Simpson. That stuff is not going away. Hey.
Meredith Kane.
I am smarter because of our conversation about the automatic balls and strikes system. I love it. I think it's added a level of excitement to the game. And I also like seeing batters get a fair shot at either getting their balls or strikes, and same thing for pitchers.
Meredith, I need to ask you, Tom's suggestion that Layla Edwards tomorrow use a stick to try to take a baseball and give it to the catcher on the opening pitch. Good idea, bad idea?
I like it. I think she could do it.
Oh, I don't think so. I know she can do it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, she's got aim. She got what did she have? 4 goals, 5 goals in the
and the assist on the biggest goal.
Yeah, in the Olympics. So yeah, I am so thrilled to see Layla Edwards tomorrow. I'm very excited to see her.
I hope she brings a stick out and does that. That would be awesome. It might even be easier for her. Let's be honest.
I'm with you.
All right, Tom, why are you smarter?
I'm going to spread the wealth around. I'm going to say Nick Shook made me smarter because he talked about how Jimmy Haslam has repositioned himself once again to fit the latest Deshaun Watson narrative. Daryl Ryder informed me that there's a new steak sandwich down at the ballpark.
Oh.
And you told me the Sliders leading a parade across the bridge. So let's go. Happy opening day, everyone.
I kind of want to. I wish I could be there, but we'll still be on the air. Maybe they'll let us. Well, they probably won't. I was saying maybe they'll let us start the parade. They can just put us on a loudspeaker over there.
Parade.
And just
go for
and
it.
We'll go 3, 2, 1, go, and that would be kind of fun. I love it. I'm smarter today because I love talking about opening day. I can't wait to talk more about it with you tomorrow. It's just, man, we're just changing seasons, and it feels good. I'm looking at the sun that's out. We're supposed to get halfway decent weather for tomorrow, so looking forward to seeing all of you downtown tomorrow, and let's see what the Guardians can do. And the other thing is, I'm smarter because the Guardians are smarter than the Dodgers announcers who were ripping them in the first game of the season, and they showed them. And I love it. I love that attitude. So, Tom, as always, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Always appreciate it. Dan, nice job. As usual, Meredith, you're killing it back there, and we appreciate you too. You know what's up next? Of course, Afternoon Drive. Be a hero, be a real hero, be an organ donor, lifebank.org. See you, Cleveland. See you. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 10. Jeff is back.
And that's the show.